Hello everyone, we are Art of War.
And we believe in creating a community where people can talk about, learn, and improve their skills at Warhammer 40K.
Our channel has live stream competitive matches of 40K, played by the best players in the world.
And we focus on teaching you how to get better at Warhammer while also emphasizing sportsmanship and engagement level.
While also using a variety of lists to show off different playstyles for every faction.
We also offer a variety of other videos such as codex reviews, faction rankings, tactics videos.
When you join our channel, you become part of our community, where we emphasize learning and positive conversation about competitive 40K.
You get early access to our videos, sub badges, emotes, as well as rewatch those hangout and hobby sessions.
Joining our community is a great way for you to show your support for us, so we can keep making awesome videos for you and continue.
Hello everyone, we're back. I'm back. I am the painter, modeler, hobbyist extraordinaire.
Extraordinary. Best there is.
The only there is.
And just to clarify, he is the extraordinaire for orcs. So when things look rockety and broken down and all over the
It's
place,
an aesthetic choice.
that is where Nick thrives. He's a beast snagger.
I'm a beast snag. I'm Makari, don't you forget.
No, I don't think so. You
Yeah.
betrayed Makari, lost your last orc game, and have not played orcs in like 7,000 years, roughly.
That's true. But I did once upon a time play orcs, so that means I'm going to return to my WAD because no one else will. Thanks, guys.
You got the orc army here. Combined with army
it's our
painter.
orc army. Let's go with our orc army. I did all the work for it. I bought it, but that's fine. Actually, Army Painter bought it. Hey, thanks, Army Painter. They also bought this. This beautiful man. It's
Yeah.
beautiful man.
This is a wonderful map. This is so much better than what we were using.
Yeah, cardboard and paper towels.
just-
That holds the ship together.
Jerry rig Nick Nanavati stuff.
Better done poorly than not done sometimes. So what you working on, Dame Mr. Seeks?
I'm going to be working on some Skitarii Vanguard, which I'm using in the War Room game this week, which is going to be my AdMech versus your Jukari.
Yeah.
You excited for that?
I'm excited to table you, yes.
Table me.
I'm going to table you. That's definitely my strategy.
Let's see how many points Nick's going to score in that game.
That's the real question. My list is actually not to untable Seeks, believe it or not. I'm trying entirely to ignore him and play the mission. In fact, it's likely that I do end up tabled or near tabled. Probably not going to take while we stand in that game. But,
Come on, to the last.
to the last. I don't know. I hope I can outscore Siegs enough, because I'm going to be trying to suicide my army to keep his score low while getting mine. But it'll be an interesting one. What do you think, Siegs?
Jukari played the mission extremely well. They got some really good, easy secondaries lined up. However, AdMech are killing machines, and that's what I plan to do.
Literally machines.
I plan to drop the machine bomb on you.
Machine
The
bomb.
Skitarii have no mercy, Nick. I mean, you saw John.
They don't need mercy.
John is in a list spire right now because of Skitarii.
I love John Lespire. They're like my favorite ones.
When he will get out, we never will.
Will he get out? This is a small grot.
In the game yesterday, did you use the pre-codex or post-codex Grey Knight points? I did, in fact, still use the old points for all my Grey Knight units.
We have the points for new grades?
Yeah, it was published in chapter approved, just like the Thousand Suns points.
Oh, wow.
So we do know what the new points are. However, immediately
Why can't
after,
you use them then?
because Games Workshop came up with an updated errata for it, saying that those are the new points. Please use these current old points until the codex is released. So they actually very quick fixed that.
That's stupid. They're stupid. I mean, they're great. We love them.
Now, to be fair, most of the Grey Knight points didn't change very much. I think the biggest one were Terminators actually, basic Grey Knight Terminators went back up to 38 points a model.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, they're 38 now. I
You
think.
don't even know. You call
they're
yourself
38
an
now.
Inquisitor. Inquisitor Siegs.
I thought something went up a couple points, and I thought it was Grey Knight terminated.
You sound
but
like me
could
when
be
I
wrong.
write lists right now. I think it works like this.
Well, I haven't checked the new Grey Knight points.
You know why I
and
think? Because I haven't checked. You're absolutely right.
I've not checked in a while.
Yeah.
I did look at it though. That's a bit different.
Once upon a time, you do look at it.
Never responded to the New Balance shoes comment. Are you looking at attending LSO? I did, in fact, respond to that on, if you're talking about the Facebook comments. I wear Nike pretty much all the time. Not all the time.
They didn't pay us to say that.
They didn't pay us to say that,
I
but
really
we're working
wish
on.
they did.
We're working on a major contract with Nike, new Art of War sponsor.
Siegs is hiding stuff from me.
It's going to be a game changer.
I like the podcast.
And then, am I going to LSO? No. John Lennon is going to be our champion at LSO. He's going to hold up the Art of War banner.
He's going to hold it so high
Raise it so high.
with his little middle arms. This crowd is scratching his head. That's pretty cool.
However, I plan to be at all the GW events. So look forward to that.
Me too.
Also, the frontline events that include the team tournament, which we're super excited to attend.
Oh,
Cannot wait.
Who's excited for team events? I'm excited for team events. They're my favorite way to play 40k right there.
Are they doing round one callouts? Can we just call out the second best team?
Let's just call the home tournament out. Pick your best five. Let's do it. How many rounds is it?
I believe it's 6 rounds.
Just pick the best 6 teams. Let's just go through them all.
Super excited for that AdMech versus Yukari matchup.
Me too. The AdMech have been doing a number on the top armies in the game. So,
He's been dodging the top army in the game. That's why.
well, Nick is back to try and prove it.
Well, they keep nerfing my stuff, so that's it's a little bit harder than before.
It's a little harder.
But I have faith. I have faith in my ability to run around and score points.
If you want to see what Nick's been running,
He played that in the War Room 2 weeks ago,
Mm-hmm.
where he ended up playing against my Tau in the War Room.
And
That was a really good game.
had a very fun ending to it, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. A classic ending to
Class-
Nick Tau game.
Classic ending to the Tau.
Nick loves Remora drones.
They're the best. They're very powerful in combat.
Especially when they're hitting on 6s with lightning fast. Miracles happen.
That's the second one we
You
stand.
can't trust Siegs. You just can never trust Siegs dice.
How Mary play? Guaranteed.
It's gonna work.
If it revolves Remoras, it's definitely
Morris
working.
charging in combat to stop a while we stand bottom of 5 for the draw. You might as well just write it in history.
Whistling Bird, €5 super chat. Thank you so much, Whistling Bird. Hi, YouTube. It's always awesome to hear you guys talk about the game philosophy. Thanks for that. What kind of lists are you guys working on at the moment? Hashtag Manta Fund. Still appreciate all your support for the Manta Fund. Nick, we're going to get a Manta, and you're going to play against it in an Apocalypse game.
I'm gonna run that by Brian and be like, Brian, I think Siegs still.
Well, no, chat's going to pay for it.
Chat's gonna pay for the Manta.
Chat's going to pay for the Manta.
Okay, chat pays for the Manta. Well, okay.
It's just a lot. John and I looked up the stats on stream.
What about a real Manta? I think I would rather see us get a real Manta. Chat,
real
who's
Manta?
paying for this Manta? Would
The
you
real
rather-
Manta is the Tau Manta.
No, I'm talking about like a proper stingray type of creature.
And how well does Nick know a sea creature?
I'm an aficionado extraordinaire. We've already been over this.
That was for building.
You think
Or
it applies to one thing? It's just my title.
Definitely doesn't apply to reading.
I'm excellent. at reading. Following directions.
Following
I'm
instructions.
doing. We built a whole wreck-a truck swig buggy.
Nick left off all the cool bits. On
I
the
left
squig
off a
button.
grot and a squig.
All the squigs. There were like 3 squigs on there.
This doesn't need
It's
more
a squig
squig.
buggy.
It's a squig buggy.
It's got to have the squigs.
But you know what? I like the lean look. You're gonna slow down with all these squigs falling off your car every 4 seconds. You
Well, the
can't-
whole point of the car is it launches the squigs.
well, can't if they're falling off.
It could.
The
Just finds
orc
more.
pushes it into the cannon. The orc is holding the squig ready to go in the cannon. The ammo is loaded. These are so not ready to get blown up by these things.
No, because they're terrible.
Well,
But
hopefully they're
they're-
not terrible. Do you know what ridiculous is? This is not because I have some foresight on the Orc Codex. This is literally because this is the only Orc stuff we have in the closet, not
And-
built or painted. And they're like,
Wait.
Nick's Orcs are coming out, why don't you work on them? And I'm like, because that's not real work. And then John looked at me like I have 8 heads, as if we're getting paid to do this. No one's paying us to do this, except for that super chat. Thank you. I don't even know.
We have some trucks and we need a battle wagon.
We have like 9 trucks. A battle wagon hasn't been
The
good since
trucks are
5th
in
edition.
the trucks. Most of our trucks are new in box.
No.
We need a
Mark
potential.
has like 5 of them.
We
Built,
need a
painted.
potential 9-truck list.
Potential 9 truck.
Come on.
You know it has to be good.
You know what? Why don't we put the 250 boys I have built and painted to use? How about we just play that?
Nah.
Can't do that. Unbelievable. We got more super chats. Pay attention.
We got a $5 super chat for Kyle Norman. Thank you so much, Kyle. And let me finish off Whistling Bird's comment first. What kind of lists are we working on at the moment? I'm working on all sorts of AdMech lists, primarily Lucius and Mars allied together. Really tailoring, especially for that mirror matchup. And trying to add tech choices for that.
9 rocket truck squig buggies coming in hot.
Definitely not 9.
9.
We have 3.
We're working.
9? Can you actually run 9?
Yeah.
It goes in 3
Squads of 3.
Squads of 3. All right. Well, Nick needs to apparently build more squig buggies, so we got to get some more.
I'll find something for this. Mark.
Where's Mark?
Where's Mark?
What kind of lists are you working on that are actually serious?
I am serious. I'm on my Dark Eldar kick. I don't think my list needs too much more refinement. Like, I like where it's at, but I'll keep playing it so I can perfect it. And then sisters, I would love to be playing my sisters right now, but I feel like Art of War's sister coverage is all monopolized by Mr. Lennon and Mr. Harpster. So I'm kind of letting them splash around in the kiddie pool until I'm ready to bust out the big girls. Right, like that's easy.
You have the highest win rate with sisters on the channel.
By a freaking mile.
I am dunked on John and Jack with the AdMech. They got
New
brutalized.
Sisters Codex, John out of here. Jack out of here. Nick, I won my game. Would you look at that? Against John.
All right, we got to get... What I'm hearing is Nick's sisters into AdMech.
Nick's sisters and that. I think sisters can hang. I know John did not hang, but I think my sisters can hang. He always points on characters.
Well, you got to spend at least a quarter of your list on characters.
That's the totally powerful part of Sisters. Yeah, I totally agree.
And then Kyle, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. Going to a GT with only 2 Drukhari registered and no AdMech, what armies do you expect to rise to the top in this field? With only 2, no AdMech? Wow, what kind of tournament is it? What GT is this?
What is all this? This is, you see this? This is what they want me to build. This, to get my rocket truck buggy from nothing to this took approximately 15 minutes. To build this pile of orc garbage is going to take me 45.
So, answer your question, Kyle. 100% I would put Marines up there. Whatever person is just copy-pasting the Space Marine Dread build, I expect to see that doing well. Raven Wing, I still think they're very, very strong. And they have really easy secondaries.
I got to ask Siegs.
Yeah.
Yesterday you were saying copy pasting, and I like
you like the copy
joking. Now I feel like you're just saying that, and I don't know if you're trying to make it a thing or if it's from somewhere or if you're just
It's from
stupid.
somewhere. It's from the internet.
Everything's from the internet. This is 2021. You can't exist on the internet.
Chad knows about copy pasta.
Copy
You
pasta. Well, is it about mom spaghetti?
No. It has nothing to do with spaghetti.
Okay. So Eminem was not.
It's a cooler way of saying copy paste.
Really, I hadn't figured that out.
Yeah. I had to explain it to you just to make sure.
Yeah, you know.
You got to over-explain.
The other armies that I expect to see up there, so Marines for sure. Honestly, whatever the best player in that region is, I expect them to do well. Honestly, still player skill is huge. I expect Sisters to do well if they're there. But honestly, at the end of the day, if there's a really great player there who, runs Knights or runs some Chaos, Jank, I expect them to do well.
Who's that?
At the end of the day, typically the best players in the meta, even if they're not playing the best codexes, still do very, very well.
Did you just call yourself out right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
701 with Tau at ACL, my man.
Hey,
That's-
who was the
that's
one?
impressive.
Who was the one? More is killing me in combat in that game.
No, I needed to charge the remorse. That was a
That
mistake.
was the mistake.
I would have killed that one Cabalite who
We
did
did
not.
A whole reenactment of that game. You know what you did? You charged the Remora, you drew the game.
Yep.
Market improvement. You would have. What happens if you draw in top 8? We've done it so many times on this show. We've drawn naturally in the
Yeah.
stupidest ways possible. Now,
But you and Ice especially.
yeah, I know you and I just love.
I have
to
a
draw.
knack for it. It's just somehow I can. Well, I usually it's from losing situations. I wasn't able to pull out a draw.
A lucky draw. Let's not skip the word there.
It's skillful. Well, you had a succubi live that let you.
She's
Be in that
supposed to live. You know my succubus.
She's not.
She's like my
4 out
succubus
of-
is like your tower.
4 out of 5 for a Binvoln.
She's done 7 out of 7. She's unstoppable.
So that's how we got to that point.
That's good. We play 40K.
But let me see.
We have more all these super chats. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much.
Now you get stuff for being super chat. Siegs, what happens when you super chat stuff?
Get a lot of cool things. So first of all, we are doing a giveaway for our members at the end of every month, starting with this month. And the giveaway for this month is going to be an exclusive coaching call for 1 hour with your 2 favorite Art of War coaches.
Nick and Nick.
It's Nick and Siegs, but seriously.
Fine.
Usually Nick and I are the popular choices, and that's perfectly fine.
Oh, Siegs is calling it out right
I'm
now.
calling it out. But however, you can ask it for anybody. And at the end of the day, you get 5 entries for being a member. And then for every dollar that you super chat over the course of the month, you get another entry. So if you have a bunch of super chats, you're a member, you are going to have a more likely chance, like somebody like Nurgle Matt, who's donated a ton to this channel over the last couple weeks. He is going to have a lot of entries.
He's going to have at least one.
Well, at least 5 is the baseline, because you're a member with 5.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I was not wrong with my statement.
At least 1. And you can ask us anything in those calls. I mean, you can just ask about Nick's personal life, because that's what he likes talking about.
I've done that. I've had professional calls. Someone bought a personal call from me once, and they were like, "Nick, I don't really care about Warhammer, but I wanted to talk to you." It was the sweetest thing ever. We just told him stories. It was great. It was awesome.
Nick's there for the stories. I'm there for the 40K talk.
Yeah, we know.
Then we have Bill Gross, $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Bill. Nick, this is an excellent question for Nick, by the way. From an economic and socioeconomic perspective,
I actually studied this.
could you please explain how the federal money market affects both big and small businesses?
This is a complicated answer. Okay. So the federal money market, it's been years since I studied this, but they regulate the amount of money in the economy and at which the rate you can get loans and at which the rate you can get all that good stuff. So basically, they can make loans cheap, and then you can borrow money, and then people are like, "Oh my God, I'm rich and buy Ferraris and houses because I can borrow stuff." And then you have people who then sometimes they make the loans high. People are like, "I can't afford anything. The world is ending." And then that's the equilibrium, and that's supply and demand. So you supply the money, and people demand more, and then they demand the money, so you supply less, and nobody's happy. This is economics. So how does it affect us from the socioeconomic scale? Well, it's really hard to change whatever class you're in. If you're in the lower class of the income, it sucks. If you're in the middle class of the income, that's in the middle. And if you're in the upper class of the income, you're on top. And if you're Jeff Bezos, then you can do whatever you want and move to Mars. So long story short, the economics are very based upon game theory. So the prisoner's dilemma factors in here, and in the prisoner's dilemma, you're best off both affecting, but no one actually does that because we're all selfish people. So you both end up losing, and that's just the way the game theory works. So everyone loses, and America wins.
All right. You can buy Nick's textbook on economics at theartofwar40k.com. It's been well received as
The number one seller.
as a parody of real life. But definitely check it out. Thanks so much for that super chat, Bill.
Bill, that was for you. I hope you have a better understanding of economics now.
We have a $5 super chat from Lyle Dixon. What is it going to take for us to see Richard, the cerebral assassin Siegler, show us how to play Sisters, the thinking man's army? I'd be down to play it. I definitely also wouldn't run 500 points in characters, frankly.
He's just gonna copy what I do. He's like, this stuff works. Nick's onto something.
No, just have more stuff all over the board.
I just taught a whole strategy session on the war room. Stuff.
Sisters do MSU the best in the game.
Maybe Dark Eldar, but this is, it's both my armies. I'm just doing it. Jack is like, how can I put Volstein on the table? And it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, cool that you get to build while we stand in.
Screw it.
But you lose a lot of... Yeah,
you have so many new actual missions you could take, actual secondaries. Retrieve Activity State, I went from being like, I hate taking scramblers to I will always just take scramblers.
It's good. Yeah, you go get the 8 points, but you can't get a 0.
You can't.
If you get a 0 on, yeah, you're just you got tabled.
You got tabled turn 1. Like, it's not even. What are you doing?
You can get tabled turn 2 if you go second.
Like what you did, John.
Yeah,
that's brutal.
There was no mercy being shown.
What did John have left at the end of the game?
Well,
end turn 1.
No, end of turn 2.
End of turn 2.
Excuse you.
Yeah,
At the end of turn 2, John had Vol,
He
Seems
had
ball's good.
Celestine.
Celestine's great.
No Gemini, of course. And then, because she just got back up. And what else did he have left? He had 2 Sacrosants. And then 5 Sacrosants behind a building. And not a whole lot else.
I do not understand how that happened.
He only killed 8 of a ranger brick, so it was 12. And then I teleported it over to where his Zephyr were and killed all of them.
Basic screening?
And finished off a Retributor squad.
No basic screening?
I mean, he just couldn't. He ran out of all his speed stuff. There's no speed in that army if you don't run a lot of...
You gotta run the trash.
Yeah, you need trash. You need the Death Cult.
Two-man garbage.
Yeah, yep. He didn't have that. And
The advanced team.
that really hurt.
Well, there you have it, folks.
Done.
Economics and sisters.
I also got to see what the Vanguard do with enriched rounds.
I don't know.
That was awesome. 1 CP auto wound on 4s.
Auto wound on 4s to hit? What?
Yep.
What are they thinking? Like, this is not even...
Well, hold on.
Like,
We need the Scutari
is-
veteran cohort rules to come out, because Scutari need to get even better.
Okay, it's fine. This is what I mean. Like, people are trying to, like, fight this. You can't fight this. You have to run away from this. Because it's going to table you. They'd be good at running.
Oh, what
Corner play. Excellent corner play.
I mean, John just didn't have stuff to play the mission. He just killed it all.
Yeah.
My AdMech list in particular has a ton of forward board pressure with all the infiltrators and the Cerberus Raiders. I'm just on top of you in the middle of the table. There are no angles you're protecting me from getting shot from. I'm just on you. And sisters don't deal well with that many Cerberus Raiders.
Sprawling. See, you have me work on the squigs. You know what I do? I drop the squig and now it has carpet on it.
Oh, come on. Don't let it have carpet.
It has carpet.
That's not what you want.
This is exhausting work.
We have a $5 super chat from Ben Siegler. How you're using your infiltrators and raiders if you go second. Also, your opponent shooting you off the turn when protector shrouds off. So thanks so much for that super chat. In my opinion, I am building my list for the Games Workshop event, which is the next one that I'm going to, and that one has actually very good has not great terrain in your deployment zone because there really isn't a lot of it. There's very heavy in the middle of the table though, so I think things like forward deploying infiltrators and Cerberus Raiders are going to be key there. Pre-game move into it, so I want as much of my army as possible to be able to start on the edge of my deployment line, and then pre-game move into the ruins so they can't get shot up. And that way I might not even have to use cover and the +1 saving throw. If I have to, I have to. But at the end of the day, I want to try and push as much up there so that the Chicken Walkers and the Vanguard unit, which can't pre-game move, is safe. But honestly, in GW's terrain, I might just run 3 Ranger units to get all of them pre-game moving. That's probably better, honestly. So that's kind of where I'm heading. Infiltrators, if they have infiltrators, I'm going to use one to screen them out. If it's the AdMech mirror matchup, I'm going to use them pretty aggressively behind terrain so that I can create a space where they can't block me with their infiltrators, and thus my Cerberus Raiders get to do cool things.
Like how many cool things?
Snipe their characters and win me the game. That's what I'm going for.
What if they flank all their characters in strategic reserve and walk
Perfect.
them
Then
off
I get
the board edge?
Then I get to table them because they have no defensive buffs.
So he's got an answer for everything.
Yep. I am very, very happy with the AdMech list that I've been playing. I think it's excellent.
It's this orc dude right here. He doesn't have feet, and it's my job to glue the feet onto him. I feel a little like that's unnecessary. Like, Games Workshop, why am I gluing orc feet onto this orc? Like, you're adding steps for no friggin' reason. Feet.
Honestly, what I found is if you don't get alpha struck as AdMech, your opponent hasn't done enough. So typically, I even if I'm not going to get hit that hard, if I can lose even a couple units, I'll just pop the defensive ones early and just make it so that I have extra shooting when I otherwise wouldn't have. That's good enough. It's just about preserving as much as you can. $5 super chat from Kyle Norman. Thank you so much, Kyle. Excellent question for Nick here. Nick, what is your stance on disestablishmentarianism?
All right. So The opposite to that is anti-disestablishmentarianism, which means if you know how to spell that word, you can spell disestablishmentarianism. All you have to do is drop the A-N-T-I. So let's try it. disestablishmentarianism. So that's disestablishmentarianism. Now that I've spelt it, what does it mean? Let's use it in a sentence. So it means to have disestablishment in your mentalitarianism. So let's use it in a sentence. I just used disestablishmentarianism in a sentence right there. So those are my thoughts.
This is very well thought out. Nick thought he
Down with the government.
The spelling.
I got the spelling.
The spelling.
That's how you know. Like
Classic Art of War. There's a little bit of spelling bee.
Hey, as far as Art of War spelling bees go, I can spell source.
But what about sauce?
That's tough.
Tough one. Thanks so much, Kyle. $5 super chat from Matt. Oh, have a practice game with sisters against Yukari this weekend. It's known. I know it is situational, but should Raiders or Chronos be a higher priority target? So for sisters, honestly, I still feel like you want to pop the Raiders first.
Yeah.
The Chronos take a turn to get in range. If you can reduce the mobility of the rest of their stuff by killing them in their deployment zone, those Chronos are going to take an extra turn to get on top of you.
Couldn't agree more. When I play Dark Eldar with my Chronos build, I typically try to put the Chronos out there while the Raiders hide, get my opponent to expose all of their anti-tank, kill like 3 Chronos, really 1 because I'm going to run 6s and feel the pains, but they should kill like 3, and then I counterattack, and then they have no more ability to kill my Raiders, and I'm like 17 times as fast as they are, and the game's over. So don't fall into that trap that I set like 7 times in a row at ACO. You know who didn't fall for it? Chesticles. That man.
I also didn't fall for it.
Siegs just lost because
That was a tough mission to play you on.
they were tough. All the objectives were in the open. That was so challenging.
They were.
They were in the open, and I whined about it for 2 hours.
Wow. I have bodyguard role.
I had it on one. I had bodyguard on one objective. Okay, you got me. I can score 5 points on primary.
Yeah.
Somehow I scored 45 points on
You
primary.
didn't see. You scored 40.
I scored 80 points on primary.
That's only because I didn't make that 9-inch charge. Otherwise, you would got 0 that turn.
YOLO 9s. What a plan.
It could have won me the game.
Mark Perry in the house.
I
Your
tried.
plan to win the game was like we had to hit the YOLO 9, we had to punch the Raider death, we had to explode the
No, you didn't have to punch the
Archon.
Raider. Not punch the Raider.
There was a lot of. It wasn't just YOLO 9. It was like the stars aligning. And you know what? This ain't no more in combat. That was your mistake. We've already established it.
I could have killed
We
that
already disestablished it.
I would have killed that Incubi and that Cablite Warrior if I charged those Remores.
I'm gonna anti-disestablish you.
It's just a shame. See, that's why I should have taken the Cold Sword with the drone controller. Hit on 4s in combat.
You see, you don't even think about this stuff. Who's skipping +1 to hit on combat for like 8 points in an aura? Only a Tau player would skip that.
It's only 5 points.
5 points. 5 points for a +1 to hit aura. You know what? I'm gonna leave that at home. Stupid Tau players.
I did have it. It was on the Riptide, though.
Well, put it in a better spot. I would take that on like 74 dudes because my army is a combat army.
74 dudes.
74 dudes.
It only works on drones, to be clear.
Yeah, well, your army's made of drones. Has been for decades.
Nick didn't believe it when the Crisis unit just instantly picked up a Kronos unit.
I believed
He was like, what?
I believed it. I didn't like it.
What?
I didn't do the math because I don't do that. Then I just put the Kronos out there, and then my quick rough math was it'll be fine. And I still think it should have been fine, but Steegs rolled good, and I didn't, and they all died to the wound, like exactly enough wounds to kill 3 Kronos. So I feel like on normal math, I'd have like half a Kronos left, which then heals. Yeah. So, screw you, Mr. Steegs. Mr. Nine's charge.
Henry Rollins says, with a £2 super chat. Thank you so much, Henry. Richard explains PhD. When am I defending? So hopefully we'll be defending in the fall. I'm working on the final 3 chapters.
Only 3 left? That's like a weekend, no?
No. Well, the intro is hard. The intro is the hard part.
Oh.
Definitely the hard part. But I'm finishing the last content chapter soon.
Good.
and then I have the conclusion, and then just keep editing the existing chapters. But it is on the French Revolution. It's on how wealthy people before the Revolution, who were able to use their wealth to purchase public offices, how they did the same thing after the Revolution. For about 7-8 years in the 1790s, the Revolution had banned the purchasing of public power in all sorts of different areas. And slowly those came back in the areas of taxation and owning public infrastructure like canals. So my dissertation looks at how that process continued into modern France and built up a structure of public entrepreneurship.
We're entrepreneurs.
Yep, we are entrepreneurs.
40K entrepreneurs. How about that? Thanks so much for your super chat. Did you want to add anything else to that, Sisters vs. Shikari?
No, I think to the question, like, don't get lost in the chrono sauce. Just let them hit them as it's natural. Don't go out of your way, and definitely don't prioritize them. It's a very unfruitful tree you're punching.
Yeah. Sisters lack a bit of speed now, so reducing your opponent's mobility is massive. Should be one of the top priorities. Wasn't able to watch the full match yesterday. GK versus Sisters. What happened to the Grey Knights, Richard? Thanks so much for your $100 super chat yesterday, Conman. Very much appreciated. Now, yep, the Grey Knights did end up showing their age. Just don't...
S tier.
Definitely not S tier. They are a mid-tier faction. I still think they're better than some of the worst factions because they actually play well into armies like GSC, Tyranids, and Orcs.
Yeah. They
Also
got
Chaos.
good matchups still.
They're very good into Chaos.
Auto win versus Chaos.
Or demons, certainly. Nick could bring back 3 Raider demons. It didn't matter.
Got 5 keepers for spirit.
But what ended up happening was John had 5-up denies and just auto deny. And after turn 2, he would push so many things up that he had a lot of them. And I just couldn't efficiently cast powers.
2 Rocket Truck Squig Buggies have been built. 2. We are now 2/7 of the way to the new meta. And you know what that means, Siegs? It's time for an uninterrupted break by Sammy the Stream Puppy.
Sammy the Stream Puppy?
Sammy
I
the
wanna
Stream
see
Puppy.
Sammy. Sammy is a wonderful dog.
Keep the party popping while I get this stuff.
All right. Well, we have another $5 super chat from Tim. What's up, guys? Just passing through and showing support. Thank you so much, Tim. Tim is our wonderful co-host of the Art of War podcast alongside Nick Nanavati and sometimes John Lennon. And he's been doing a fantastic job. So thank you so much, Tim. How are you doing with your sisters? I'm excited to hear. I know you were very happy to see John running Evan Chalice yesterday and the success in that stream game. So wondering where you're going with your sisters. Can't wait for that Grey Knight Codex release. GW needs to quit slacking. I know, right? Come on. Bring out the Thousand Suns. Bring out the Grey Knights. I honestly, I don't even, the points were in chapter approved. They didn't change that much, so I have to assume that just everything is getting the typical 9th edition treatment where all the weapons are getting updated. I'm really interested to see what they do with Grey Knight Stormbolters, since Sisters got Artificer ones that do 2 damage. I hope they just build Sidebolt straight into the bolters as one of the changes for Grey Knight weapons.
There it is.
Hello, Sammy.
This is Sammy the
Good
Stream
girl.
Puppy.
Thank you.
I love her.
Thank
She has 3 legs. That's okay. It doesn't stop her.
She's very happy.
She thinks
She loves
has
life. Good girl. She's very, very happy. Would you like to paint some Skitari for me?
She's not really a lapdog, but everything's a lapdog if you make it. So there you go.
Nick is the stream lap dog when Sammy's not here.
That's true. That's true. Oh, okay. I know, baby. Oh, the puppy kisses. Okay.
GW did a great job of flattening the curve of what's good in the new book, trying everything. Excited to see our Martyred Lady rules soon.
Yeah, definitely. John is going to be pouring through the rules this weekend for our Martyred Lady, and we're going to be playing them on stream next week. Same with the Skitari veteran cohort. I'm going to try and get a game in with them. And then, of course, with Bellacore and Chaos getting rules, we're going to have Mr. Mark Perry back on stream showing off new Chaos stuff. So next week's going to be packed with all sorts of new rules and new builds. Doggo hearts.
Super chat for Sammy.
She can give all the kisses. Thank you. Thank you.
She does love the kisses.
Loves the kisses. What do you think of the orcs, the Rucka Truck Swig Buggy? What do you think about that? Fascinated by the painting?
She's much more interested in you than me.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
because I'm a star.
Yeah. Stop it right here.
Thank you. Thank you. She could give this Qatari some kisses. She could indeed.
I'm sorry. I did not mean to move my leg.
Nick is unstable ground.
I think
You gotta pass the difficult terrain test.
Do you just want the chair?
She just wants the chair to herself.
You can have the chair. Oh, she's gone. Well, that was Sammy the stream puppy. She's not really the stream puppy, but she is today.
She is today. And she is supporting the AdMech, as we clearly saw.
She is not. She was trying to eat
Clear.
them. She was trying to help me out by eating your freshly painted models. Good girl.
I believe she said that AdMech are not broken. Get better.
You did not speak dog. Don't even pretend.
I speak more dog than you.
No.
Yes.
I'm her favorite. That's how you know.
How did you like playing an army with a psychic phase after months of Necrons, AdMech, and Tau? I mean, I like playing Grey. There's a real challenge to playing Grey Knights, and it's more to do with the positioning of their units. They have so few units, everything's so expensive. You need to get the most value out of them. The psychic phase isn't as complex, but I like having the utility of being able to shoot in the psychic phase and then move the unit, being able to potentially fire fade back into rhinos. That's really cool with interceptors. And Gate of Infinity plays to open up space with your shooting, and then Gate of Infinity into that space. I got the Gate Infinity, a rhino with some servers inside. It's John's deployment zone. Finish off Scramblers on turn 5. Yeah, I did it turn 4, got it turn 5. Those are hero servitors.
Heroes.
And then the rhino almost shut down the Sacrifice and could have denied its retreat Octarius.
Oh, man.
But failed that 8-inch charge.
Sammy,
What super faction keyword does the doggo have?
She has definitely keyword.
Imperium. She has all the good
She's
rolls.
not Imperium.
She has all the good
She has
rolls.
the good rolls.
She's definitely not Chaos. And Xenos are unloved. She's definitely not Necrons.
No.
Well loved. She's like a space book.
That's lame. She's so much cooler than a space marine.
She's not Ultramarines.
She's definitely not ultra.
Sorry, John.
She's too cool to be. Maybe she's sisters. I think Sammy is sister. She's a girl. Yeah, she's definitely sisters.
She's Sisters of Battle.
Sisters of battle.
Bloody Rose. All the good rolls.
All the good roles.
What is the Stream House taking to Dallas in a few weeks?
Just John. I don't know. He's in a spiral. He's going to change his mind about 16 more times before Dallas. That's the problem with having the stream house. We have all the armies at our fingertips, which is both a blessing and a curse because it makes John very indecisive.
He's gonna probably say Space Marines and then do AdMech.
Yeah, but there's always the chance he just likes YOLOs to sisters and is like, Vol.
I could see him do Sisters.
Same to sisters. He's against Dark Eldar. He just apparently doesn't like them. Something about how he doesn't want to be a bandwagoner, as we just flip-flop between AdMech and sisters. Nah, definitely not that. You think he's gonna stick to the tried and true boys in blue? Space Marines?
No.
No? Time to move on.
Yeah, I think it's too. Yeah, I think it's just too inconsistent.
Aren't Space Marines supposed to be the consistent faction? Rerolls on rerolls.
I mean,
on
Ultramarines are much more powerful going first than second, and if you're playing a 9-round event,
Well, he went second like 9 times in a row at ACO, so.
yeah, he did make
a lot
that
of
move.
averages.
So I think that's too much of a risk. Also, I think that you thought a lot of dreads died to my Tau. Let's get ready for AdMech.
Oh, Taos suck.
You saw it. I tabled Jack's Deathwatch army in 3 turns
With the AdMech or the.
with the AdMech.
Yeah.
So that army starts with a 5-up invul on their dreads.
Oh, for real.
So
For real.
I don't know.
I don't understand. That's what I mean. You can't fight AdMech on like, let's fight each other so you stand.
Yeah, I don't. You
like,
just
you're
stand out there
gonna
and shoot.
die. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do janky stuff to AdMech and make them move. They suck at moving. Not Sieg's list, but a lot of admin lists suck at moving.
Not mine. I've made it so I can move a lot.
I'll beat Sieg's list. Did the ponies still run away?
Yep.
Are you sure about that?
Yep.
Does
It's
it make that up?
2CP.
Did it
Tactical
change?
oblique. It stayed the same
Any
name.
capacity?
You can redeclare targets after I do it.
Oh, see, that's actually quite a nice buff to everybody involved in the making of that.
So you don't auto-fail a charge for 2CP.
I mean, that's quite. It sounds like that should be just the way it was,
I still get to move 12 inches.
but it
So
wasn't. Yeah. These rocket trucks.
All right, here we go. $5 super chat from Bill Gross. Nick, can you please give Richard some tips on his dissertation? Maybe some ideas on the topic
he might not have considered.
So I actually took a course in French history in my senior year of college. I needed to fulfill a history requirement, and I passed. So there you go. I'm quite the expert.
I passed with a what?
C. C for consistently passing. So pretty sure I got a pity C because she felt bad about me in my senior year. Graduate. I was a businessman. I didn't do history. So, but yes, I can offer Sieg's a lot of expertise.
Alright,
He's
here we
been
go.
doing a lot of research. He went to the archives in France. That's a fancy way of saying he went to a library.
It is different than a library.
Yeah, I'm sure. And which is really just a fancy way of saying he used Google. But
Definitely didn't use
Siegs used Wikipedia for his paper. I have French friends. I have friends who can speak French. I took French in 4th grade, I think. So
Just
I'm
4th
fluent.
grade?
Maybe 5th too. I don't really know. It was a long time ago. So I'm pretty fluent. And the tips I would like to give Siegs are that Marie, that nice lady that they beheaded for letting them eat cake. I like cake, you like cake, we all like cake, so when the rich people give you cake, I don't know why we behead them. I think that's stupid. And I understand symbolism and the fact that it's so ignorant towards the plight of the people, but you know what? If I'm a plighted person and I'm like, man, my life sucks, and then some rich lady was like, here's some cake, I'd be like, thank you. Thank you, rich lady with the cake. I wouldn't try to behead her. Don't bite the hand who feeds with you. Look at dogs. Dogs love you when you feed them, like Sammy. And you should be like dogs. So, Siegs, I think you need to work some more cake into your thesis. Having not read it, though, I don't know how much cake there is, but a lot of the words out of your mouth had nothing to do with cake or Marie. So, I think she's a good baker. She's a good baker.
The only thing Nick knows about the French Revolution is an anachronism. There's a real lack of knowledge there.
We're going to have to agree to disagree.
Well, what'd you get on my history exam?
I didn't take your history exam.
You did. You and John did.
I don't know.
Nick struggled with the 20th century, which was surprising. I would have thought he would have struggled with the 19th century.
I'm a history aficionado explorer.
What about a Lord of the Rings aficionado?
No, that's not real. What's the point to knowing that useless garbage?
John's gonna bust in here for anything and smite you down.
Look, I am choosing to not have a town art in my room because I'm a good person. Right now, okay?
Yeah, that is true, chat. The town art is living back in Nick's room. Nick made a statement about not having 40k in his room, and then we came up with a good bet to keep the town art in there for a very long time.
We didn't keep not a very long time until I choose to get rid of it. Completely up to me. I'm just letting you have your time in the sun over here.
It's really the town art's time in the sun.
Town art is covered by a shirt right now.
He's been in that room for.
We have a $10 super chat from Tim. Tim Penny. Current trick to a competitive army that isn't AdMech Dark Eldar is crack raiders, dictate tempo versus Dark Eldar, hide from chickens and bricks, and handle Sakaran's raiders, then push into AdMech. Thoughts?
That's a lot of words. My Dark Eldar list is different to most. I don't think killing the raiders in my list gives you like a path to victory. It would help. Raiders are a bit of speed I wouldn't otherwise have. My army's mostly a fuck Dark Eldar army, so it's really weird. Against your traditional Dark Eldar list, yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. There's also some Dark Eldars floating out in Australia, which have like 9 Talos, 9 Chronos, all -1 damage. To me, that's just trying to play AdMech with you're really good at shooting, I'm really tough, and I don't like playing that kind of game, but it is really tough. So, depending on the variation of Dark Eldar, because the new FAQ has really spawned some variation there. So it's a little. I don't know if there's generic advice you can give. Maybe there is against a certain archetype that used to be popular. Maybe still is popular because that's what people know how to play. What do you think about AdMech, Seeks?
I think in terms of how you try and deal with AdMech, it's you need speed, angles, because only one of those Katari bricks is going to be really hard to kill. At the end of the day, the other ones are 4-up armor, 3-up if they have the protocol active, which is only 1 turn, and potentially +1 if you're only damage 1. But against a decent amount of your army, if you can get an angle on the other Skatari bricks, you can at least get them down to 15, 12, 10 or less models, and at that point they're not as scary. They can still do a decent amount of damage if they get in half range, but they're not completely crippling your army in one go. So being speed and angles is really important, and I would also say character sniping. AdMech does not have the bodyguard rule. If you can take out the Lagi Tech Priest early and get rid of that ignoring
Logitech Priest?
The Lagi. He's the Holy Order Lagi.
We have a Logitech camera filming us right now.
I do have a Logitech camera, but it's not Lagi. It's not a Holy Order.
It really sounds the same to me. It sounds like you're a copy pasta, like you're just trying to be a hipster for some reason. It sounds a lot like that.
No, that's just straight from the book.
The book? Which book?
The AdMech Codex, which is sitting right over there.
Okay.
But if you can snipe out the guy who ignores AP 1 and 2 each turn, that is a huge advantage. So speed, snipers, all really powerful. And AP3. If you can build your list into volume of attacks or volume of fire AP3 to get rid of those Katari bricks, because that's the main board control, you should be in at least a spot where they don't completely dominate the mission against you as well. That's where you really can't afford, is if they're tabling you and also winning the mission.
Tabling and missioning you.
Yep. They have some of the best OBSEC in the game.
So those are my thing. It's speed for mobility and getting angles on the AdMech army, and then sniping. I think those are things you really want to build in. AP3, obviously.
What about the Sammy stream? I want to know about the Sammy chats.
There was just a lot of love.
A lot of love.
A lot of love. Hard eyes.
A lot of hearts for you, Sammy girl.
Will I be taking Grey Knights to a big tournament anytime soon?
It depends on how their codex is. If their codex is good, heck yeah, I'll take them.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of anti-psychic in the game right now.
What?
Sisters are a brutal matchup.
Yeah, they got
Auto
a lot
deny
of
fives.
a lot of good anti-psychic.
And it's like, wow, okay.
Just gonna stop all these powers now.
Yeah, I'm just going to start stopping all the key powers. The thing is, like, he was able to just... He had so many denies in range, he could just do it on every power.
Right. That's like... Grey Knights rely on being able to stay out of deny range. You're like, I'm just in deny range of everybody.
Yeah. And it's a 5-up just auto-deny. Doesn't matter what I roll.
Yeah.
So...
Which isn't reliable, but it happens often enough that you can't rely on your powers going off. You have no say in the matter. It's not like you can buff your casting.
Yeah, one turn he denied both the -1 to wound and the +1 invuln.
Yeah. It's not what you want. So did you gate away afterwards? Did you win that game?
No, I lost.
You lost.
Grey Knight can't do primary.
They could.
You'd have to build a really I don't. The way they do primary would be stacking all the buffs on like a Dread Knight or something durable, relatively
like
durable.
they
It's just
should
not durable anymore.
Yeah, they have to focus on like tabling you and then working
Exactly.
later.
And they just don't do as much damage as they used to. The new 9th edition armies do an obscene amount of damage compared to Grey Knights.
Mm-hmm.
So they still have cool tricks, and like I said, they actually have good matchups into a lot of the mid-tier armies, and even some of like armies like Death Guard. I still think they can do quite well too.
Mm-hmm.
Armies that don't have a tremendous amount of speed. But it is definitely tough against Sisters for sure.
Tough toenails.
I don't know about toenails.
You guys gonna start practicing with the GW terrain on stream matches soon? Very soon, we are going to be practicing for all 3 GW events, which we will be participating in. So definitely, we were
just talking with Big Bear before this stream about a new table that we're going to design. So
look forward to that.
I don't know how this goes. Oh, this is the wrong one. Makes sense. That makes sense.
That could never be the wrong one.
Well, I built a few of these now, so I figured
Yeah.
I don't need to use the directions as much.
Return of Plasma Scepters to deal with AdMech blobs.
They are good into the Scutarian blobs. The problem is they've gone up in points twice now, and they are awful into Jukari. So if your meta's full of AdMech and not Jukari, yeah, honestly, I would take them. Lightning Clavettes, Plasma Scepters.
Lightning Plasma Scepters. Imagine.
Imagine.
That
John would never leave Space Marines again.
he needs to stop flirting with the other armies. He's got like 7 factions under his belt. And he's like, I need more.
Death or Glory with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Greetings from Death or Glory, Michigan. Currently working on some Sakaran Arcus for my Iron Hands. Wanted to know what Space Marine weapon profile or model units you think are best against AdMech Chicken Walkers and Skitarii. I just played against the Arcus at ACO, and I was playing with Tau there, not AdMech, but it was very annoying in picking up little units that were holding down objectives with that indirect line of sight. I actually quite like the Arcus. It wasn't that pricey.
Is that a knight? Is that what I'm talking about?
No, it's the you know how there's the Scorpius, the Whirlwind Scorpius.
Yeah. It's another whirlwind?
It's another type of Whirlwind.
Oh, okay. I was thinking
It's an indirect fire forge roll tank.
Yeah, okay.
It's pretty solid.
If it's not pricey and it's good and direct, that will take you a very far way.
Yeah,
It's not amazing into everything in the meta, but finishing off little things that you otherwise wouldn't be able to interact with, it was actually pretty nice.
That's an important
It denied me primary in two different turns, which was very annoying.
Yeah, if you don't have indirect and your opponent can just toss 4 surges behind the wall and call it a day, that sucks for you.
Yeah, so I actually quite liked it. And it wasn't Iron Hands, but I still think you can get plenty of mileage with the Primaris Tech Priest nearby to give it +1 to hit. Now, Space Marine stuff that's good into the Chicken Walkers and Skitarii. Redemptors are still reasonably good. The Plasma is actually good into because it's flat 3 damage. It's very good into and high AP. It's actually very good into the Chicken Walkers. And 36-inch range, move 8, you should be able to get in range. The problem is having enough. You need to force the Chicken Walkers out first before you commit the Redemptors. You need something relatively durable to force them out that the Skitarii and other stuff can't simply deal with. So, are you dealing? John wants to do. I know he's thought about adding some extra. I know he was actually thinking about bringing the Impulsors back. Maybe he won't do that, but having troops inside a transport and forcing the anti-tank out that way, potential. You just need to force the Chicken Walkers out, then you commit your shooting, and the Redemptors should do a reasonable amount. Obviously, it's D6 shots, so it's a little inconsistent, but that's one of the better things they have into the Chicken Walkers because it has the range and the profile needed to do it. John also likes multi-multi Devastators. He's been thinking about running them for his White Scars in the Rhino, Disembark, Advance to shoot them. Iron Hands is a little different, but you could still, if you run enough melee that you would actually want to run a drop pod, you could think about that. But honestly, most good AdMech lists are going to be running Infiltrators, so they're going to push you back a bit. And you won't be able to do a turn 1, which means, are you ever going to get in range after their AdMech armies in the middle of the table? Probably not. So I think outside of White Scars, the multi-melted devs probably aren't as good. Other things from Marines that are good? Honestly, Eliminators. I know they got weaker, but if you can get angles with them and snipe out the Manipulus or the Dominant, whoever has Logi, whichever Tech Priest has Logi, if you could snipe him out, that is a huge boon.
Sasha.
Then you don't have to worry about ignoring if you wanted to.
We just had Sasha on the Art of War podcast talking about his Black Templars, and one of the changes he's making to help deal with that mech is adding some Eliminators in for exactly that reason. And it's not like they don't have other roles. They're really good at mission stuff.
Yeah, they're still good at mission stuff with the Fire and Fade, and you can keep them alive for longer. They're still infantry.
They're cheaper.
They're cheaper. I would actually go for Eliminators, honestly. That's the first thing I would add to your list. Probably start with 2 units and go from there.
They're also just good at mission playing stuff because they're Phobos. So they can help with retreat points later.
Fire and Fade, Phobos, all kinds of games going on.
Fire and Fade to get you in position to finish off both the moment points as well. Get back in the center. All sorts of stuff. So I would
Definitely consider the Eliminators, honestly. And then an untargetable Dreadnought with the Cyclone Missile Launcher, and probably still double Volkites. And given the character keyword, he's probably going to still be pretty much a staple for your Iron Hands.
Yeah, he's one of the main reasons to play Iron Hands.
Yep. Their Psychic Tree is actually very good for Iron Hands.
Yeah.
I definitely think about running those Terminators with +1 armor save, and you can also give them the Field of Pain. There's something there. It's a little different style list, not quite as shooting heavy, but something durable like that, being able to hold down objectives against AdMech, something else to think about.
Rocket Truck Squig Buggy. Gonna get almost done.
$5 Super Chat from Bill Gross. Do you see any plane teleporting a block of 6 casting robots with solar flare after the Data Smith makes them core?
That sounds way too unnecessary.
With new GW terrain? No, because that GW terrain has it's a U shape, and then there's also a little piece on the end. It's actually very hard to make charges into there. Your opponent can very easily screen you because once again, casting robots aren't going through walls, so it's just way too easy to screen on those boards. I think protect your key units from getting charged by the robots. And as more people try and contest the middle of the board against AdMech by having their own infiltrating units, I just think, and most people are taking Retrieve Octarius data, so they're throwing small units in the middle of the table. They're not really, you're not getting 6 robots up the table with solar flare. That's just not a thing. So,
Mr. Siegs, I must bid you adieu to fix my broken body.
okay.
John!
We'll get you in, we'll get Servitor Nick back into the med bay.
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop, boop. I'm gonna go see the apothecary. Oh, Sammy.
You're gonna see the tech priest. You're gonna be machine.
I'm gonna turn into a crew. They have regenerative powers.
That's not how this works.
That is. They do.
I hate to disappoint.
They eat lots of stuff. I like eating.
All right, we'll make you do one of the Gretchen on the Squig Bug.
You know what else is really cool? Zangor.
Zangors.
And Sammy!
Zangors.
Xanagors.
You ready, Mr. Lennon?
I am.
Excellent.
All right, Nick actually almost
I built an entire
almost completely built 2 Squig Buggies.
You're doing great.
He's got all the extras built. Look at that.
What kind of shenanigans are on the table today?
AdMech stuff.
AdMech shenanigans. Those are my least favorite kind.
Those are your favorite.
It's not like that.
John loves AdMech. Yeah, honestly, I don't see 6 casting robots as being a thing, even with solar flare. It's just too easy to screen, and they still don't hit amazingly hard.
Did Nick break this halberd?
What halberd? He wasn't doing sisters.
Interesting. That's okay. There are many broken halberds when you play sisters. That is just life. Tim Penny in the chat will come in here to complain
What are you
about...
doing with them? Putting like purity seals over them? Keep them bound?
No, I haven't broken any of the ones on models. It's just a spare one that I clipped out and it is apparently broken. But I have 20 sacrosanct, and between those I only need to have 10 whole halberds. So hopefully we can keep them alive, folks.
How you doing, John?
Doing all right. I'm happy to be here. Painting. Looks like you're working on more machines than man.
I'm working on more Skitari Vanguard this time. Finished the Rangers, working on the Vanguard, and these are going to be for that stream match up against Nick Nanavati's Drukari.
It's tomorrow.
That is tomorrow in the War Room.
Somehow, testing has led to Richard painting even more Vanguard and Rangers.
Yeah.
Which is...
It's because
because
all of 8th edition,
we know why.
I had minimum squads.
Yeah.
I just didn't need them.
Yeah, I
were-
also did not anticipate needing 100 infantry painted.
Yes. This is my least favorite thing. I'd rather paint a bunch of vehicles or something.
Mm-hmm. More machine than man over here.
These are really detailed. Ultramarines worst chapter, Iron Hand's best chapter.
Oh, death or glory. That's okay. That's okay, buddy. It's alright. The flesh is weak. This man has had his brain replaced with a wireless mouse, but he lost the USB port. It's like Nick's mice. No, that man does not have a matching mouse and controller.
Good question from Whistling Bird. Which terrain design do you find better, WTC or the new G-dubs?
I haven't played on either, so I'm not going to give a good answer to that, if I'm being real. I don't like that neither of them have windows in their ruins. I like that element of terrain. I like melee armies, but like when it's just windowless ruins, I feel like some things like Vanguard veterans get a little bit too good.
Yeah, I think it's honestly, if they did one as fully block and the other one wasn't.
Yeah, or yeah,
So-
I don't think they all need windows and they don't all need a fully block.
Yeah.
But it's still a little mix.
I think doing 1 and 1 would
one and
actually
one would be
reasonable.
pretty interesting. Yeah, I would be okay with that. All right, we're gonna paint up these Gemini.
That way you can force your opponent to go for particular angles and you kind of know his game plan if he brings a more mono-dimensional army.
Yeah, just it adds more diversity to games. I like that.
Yeah, I agree. I also haven't played on the exact WTC terrain or the
Or the
the
GW
new
stuff.
GW stuff. However, we were working on that.
Yes,
So,
I'm very excited to play on the GW train because I think it'll change a lot of the dynamics that we kind of assume are true.
Yeah, so we're I'm already planning for a lot of pre-game move and infiltrating stuff just so that because it doesn't seem like
the L's.
a lot of stuff just isn't in your deployment zone. It's in the middle of the table, and you need a turn to get there.
What's interesting is that some pre-game moves, like the Necron one, are not limited by people being close.
Yep.
Like Necrons just make a normal move. They don't care if you happen to be within 9 inches. It's like, what, 3 inches away now? That's your problem, not mine. So that actually kind of makes me like Necrons because you can't block them.
Yeah, and they also like being able to string back into pure line of sight blocking. Also having Catan up in the middle of the table, Sky of Falling Stars.
That sounds terrifying.
You can't really interact with them very easily.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that terrain feels a little bit better than
Yeah,
Necrons. Than
being
the
able to
standard
pull-
fare.
Go ahead, come out with some of the unit, shoot away whatever you need to, and then as you take damage, you pull the unit in line of sight. You then use the orb in your command phase and
back on the
potentially Ghost Guard, get
objectives.
back on the objectives. Like, yeah, I think the terrain is actually pretty reasonable for Necrons.
We'll see if that's the buff they need.
We'll see. I'll definitely test them out on it.
I'm excited. Honestly, I'm going to test every army. I've been reinvigorated with the White Scars recently. I'm thinking about it.
Because I already think Drukhari can play into. Necrons can play into Drukhari. We saw that before Drukhari got nerfed.
It hasn't gotten any worse.
So it hasn't gotten any worse. And even though the Entropic Lance went up 10 points,
It was too tropical.
it was,
We were selling too many shirts, Richard.
we're getting way too tropical. It was so good. I mean, they must have watched The Killing of the Vexilla or Dante.
It was only my characters who were getting just
Yeah.
lanced. It's like, dang it.
Just lance straight to death.
Like, the Tropical Lances literally did nothing for 7 straight games, and then it's like, oh, John as a character? Death.
Okay.
Want to see me do it again? It's the fact that it happened twice. I was like, oh, okay.
We got Terry. Thank you so much for that $5 super chat. Hello, Siegs and Lennon, just saying hello from North Carolina. Keep up the great content. Look forward to watching the Drukhari vs. AdMech coaching game tomorrow.
What is up, Terry?
Thank you so much for your support, Terry, and we can't wait for you to join us in that game.
Terry is a recent convert to the Mechanicum.
Excellent. That's
He
what
is
I like to
the tech priest grabbed him, pulled him out of the Fortress Monastery, slapped a couple implants in him. He is now going to be a Scutari Marshal.
Welcome to the Omnissiah. The blessings of the Omnissiah shine upon you,
Will rain down upon everyone you play.
just as it should be. Well, thank you so much, Terry. And John, how do you think that stream game is going to go? Drukhari versus AdMech.
I am very curious to watch the scoreboard here. I am very willing to bet that at the end of the game there will be more AdMech than Drukhari. However, the scoreboard is still up and down, and I'm interested to see that. You know, Nick's army kind of feels like it's controlled dying, and Richard's army feels like it's uncontrolled killing. So I am curious to see who has control here. Do you guys have any ideas on like what terrain setup you're going to try to emulate for that game?
If we can get Mr. Mark Perry to bring over some G-Dubs terrain.
You're talking about the Chris stuff?
Yeah.
Chris is coming over on Saturday, so like I can always ask him that if we don't get any Mark stuff, if Mark doesn't deliver stuff by then.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we can get some GW style training
Probably
here.
for next week then.
Maybe next week. Okay.
But
Yeah, that'll be awesome doing those warring games on the GW train, really breaking down kind of our thought process heading into it. Some pretty cool tournaments.
Yep, because like I said, we plan to attend all of those GW events.
I've got tickets to all 3.
Yep.
Ain't no one stopping me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll try and emulate one of the next tournaments that's coming up.
Mhm.
So maybe Lone Star.
You do the ACO format.
Yeah, we can do ACO format or the GW one, whatever we can best emulate.
Right on, right on.
Let's see. What would you feel comfortable bringing if you know that's the case and you don't want to play the mirror? So first post lockdown GT meta in my greater area looks like 30% AdMech and Jukari with no army being represented significantly outside of that. If I knew that was the meta, I would just build for the mirrors, honestly.
Take AdMech build from mirror.
Yep, which is what I'm doing.
That's fair. Wonder, might depend on what the terrain is. I do think that there are some Marines that have play there. I really want to practice White Scars and AdMech at some point. Van Vets get that Rhino in there. There's some potentially interesting play. I'm ready to kill all of these infiltrators and Sakaran, Ruststalkers, and Rangers and Vanguard. It's all going down, Richard.
When do you think? Well, your White Scars are pretty much. You don't have to build and paint anything, right?
I have to build a couple multi-melt guys, but I already have them. So because my Marine stockpile is deep and extensive. So I have new Unsprue Marines. I have a bunch of multi-melted bits. Like, I'm ready to go.
And you also have a White Scars versus Black Templars showdown.
Since Jack paints an entire Black Templars army, I'm ready to go.
I thought it was just the Terminators he needed.
Yeah, and the rest of the army.
Oh, I thought he had the rest of the
It's
army.
painted like Eradicators and Helbricked.
Jack, don't do this to us.
Look, it'll happen eventually. It's just we're all on Jack's timeline right now. Let me I'm gonna run and grab a pot of silver paint that I was airbrushing with earlier, and I'm gonna use that for some dry brushes. I'll be right back.
All right. Got a couple more Vanguard to finish putting the blues on. Would you guys come over to any of the UK super majors? Definitely. Would have loved to come to LGT, but that was a little before we kind of knew.
COVID situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So next
Long
year,
term, yes,
definitely, we would love to come over for some of the big
LGT would be a really fun one.
European
to go to.
events.
Such a big one.
Yeah. But I know there's some really good events in the UK that we'd love to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Probably LGT would be the number one, just because it's the biggest.
I mean, ETC or WTC. Of course,
You have
that's
to
you have to be invited.
You have to be invited.
So, and no idea when that's gonna be happening again. Hopefully in 2022.
Yeah. They were gonna run a smaller one, I think, and then it was canceled for this year. So I think they're all on next year.
All in on next year.
Yep.
As long as it runs, I'll be happy.
9 baby nights.
Oh, 9 Armigers?
9
I
Armigers.
do love Armigers, you know what? Love me some Armigers. We should get some more Armigers. I've got a couple more I could paint them up. I mean, more Armigers never goes away, right?
What would the list actually look like? Would it be mostly the forge-rolled ones?
I think it's a mix of Lightning Locks and Warglaves. Okay. The Warglaves are just so cheap. Like, I love the Warglaves. And I also like having a little bit of combat moving around there.
Yeah, the sweep attack really helps them.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I think if you do Armigers, you usually go custom. Because there's one that lets Armigers fall back in the chute. Which, of course, does not help any Megaras that are in the list. But if you're doing 9 Baby Knights, there's not many Megaras left at the end of that. Maybe 1 at most.
Well, you'd still take the free blade one?
Oh, yeah. I always like one free blade guy, just be OBSEC. But that's pretty much a constant for me. OBSEC is all important, right?
Do you think that list has play into armies like AdMech and Jukari?
Ooh. AdMech, I'm not sold on that. I would need to go back through all the different weapons to see if there's any that are efficient. Maybe the Grav is decent in AdMech because it's AP3 and Blast. Lightning Locks are definitely going to be more wounds, but they're AP2.
Yeah.
Which is... Then if you have a custom trait, you get extra AP within 12 inches. So if you close the gap, which is a terrifying prospect, then you are AP3 and you can kill Skari super quickly. If you get there.
Yeah.
That's always There's always a caveat. That's scary. I don't know. I'd be interested in trying. I really want to try that all free blade list sometime.
$5 super chat from Lyle Dixon. Are we going to tell John that Siegs and Nick are making fun of his sister's list when he's not on stream?
They can do whatever they want. It's okay. Nick doesn't know anything about sisters, so that part's easy.
Nick has the highest win rate with sisters in the stream house, is what was said.
Because he won one game?
Yes.
Okay.
And then he is not the biggest fan of Dallasstein. The 500 or so points on that.
Nick doesn't like having real units in his list, and that's okay. That's okay.
I mean, you see his Drukhari list.
That's all right. I mean, like if we like just dropping stats on people, there were some amusing ones that I read recently.
What are they?
In the past year, actually, we'll just say, yeah, in the past year, Nick is 1-4 against other members of the top 10 in the ITC. Makes you wonder how he got up there. You ever see something, you wonder how it got there?
What's your record?
6-0. 2 of those being Nick.
Oh, because Nick lost twice to Brad.
He lost twice to Brad, he lost twice to me.
Nice.
That's okay. One of the
He lost
one
with
of
Denver
those.
against Nathan too.
Oh shoot, you're right. He's one. Yeah, that's not getting any better. Okay. That's all right. One of those was last season, so we can remove that, but still fun to look at. Whenever Nick likes to talk smack, which he frequently does.
He's been on vacation.
He's been on vacation.
It's time
That's
to
all right.
rest.
Nick hasn't lost a game in over a week for the first time this year. It turns out the only way to do that is to leave
hold
the
on,
house.
hold on. We got an AdMech Drukhari game coming.
Oh yeah. Well, today's his last day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow the real work begins, but today's his last day of vacation. Gets to keep that streak going a little longer. One more day.
We are going to find out just how much damage I can do to Drukhari army.
I am really excited about that. You know what? I really am.
John is getting himself on the stream PC for that. game.
Absolutely. I would like to watch. Yeah, sure. I mean, I can free up half an hour of my time.
What do you think guys expect from the new Orc and Beast
Snagus. I have no
my
idea.
Orc rules are such a crapshoot. Like, it's either going to be when you complete a charge, roll a dice, and on a 6-up, you do 1 mortal wound. Or it's going to be on a 2+ for every model in the unit, even if they didn't reach engagement range, D3. It's Orcs.
Well, we just previewed those. If the knob is riding the
the
squid,
headbutt guy.
yeah, you roll 5 dice, 4-ups are immortal.
You roll 5 dice?
5 dice.
What?
5 dice, 4-ups is immortal. Yeah! I can... What?
What?
Yep. That's good.
Okay. All right. That's cool. It's cool. I'm going to bring so many servitors. No, I'm playing Black Templars now. What are we talking about? You kidding me?
Feel no pain, baby.
Yeah, orcs don't have vehicles, so their chapter trait actually works. And then feel no pain against mortals. I'm a Black Templar player now. Jack will be playing the White Scars in that match. What the
Beat
heck?
the man with his own army.
Can and I will.
Would you take the big brick of Eradicators?
I would not. I don't think you need 6. I think a 4-man is what I want. I just want to be able to kill a Dreadnought. And a 6-man still kills 1 Dreadnought.
Yeah.
It's like, the fact that it overkills, it doesn't matter, because if you split fire, you then don't kill 2 Dreadnoughts, because you don't get to double tap. No, I do not.
Yeah.
Do not think that unit is necessary. It's not bad, though, so I don't
It's not
hate
bad.
it. I definitely don't hate it, but I just
So,
that's one of the places I would cut points. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's okay. Black Templars and just Marines in general have so many options that there are always good tools to be found.
What do you think about Sasha running the Whirlwind for the...
I hate that thing. I'm not gonna mince words here. It has uses. I hate it. I really, really don't think it has much value. It's garbage when you don't need fight last. I don't know. Did he have the Whirlwind at
Yeah, it is.
HBO?
Yeah,
Okay.
pretty sure.
So maybe there's more to it. Maybe he liked it because they did an episode of Unbroken with Sasha, right?
Mhm.
So perhaps Sasha can better explain it. But I personally do not want a Whirlwind in my Space Marine lists.
What about High Marshal Helbricht?
You know what? I honestly don't like him either. He's not bad though. Helbricht is good. So I just don't quite fit him because I need a dude to carry my warlord traits and relics, so I end up having to either take a whole extra character after my chapter master, or just accept my chapter master isn't Helbricht, and then I get that. So I don't hate Helbricht. He's kind of like the thing that I start the list with that is out by the time I'm done writing it. Yeah. So I don't dislike Helbricht. Yeah.
John, there was a question for you. Working on Sicarian Arcus for my Iron Hands, wanted to know what Space Marine weapon profile or model unit you think are best against AdMech Chicken Walkers and Skitarii.
Volkites. Actually, though, I mean, some of the strength 6 and 7 is a great break point because it wounds T3 on a 2, and it wounds T6 on a 4, and of course, strength 7 wounds on a 3 there. Now transhuman is transhuman, and that just happens, but it's only one unit, and everything else, strength 6 is a great break point. So honestly, I kind of like the Assault Hellblaster the most, and delivering is a problem.
Iron Hands?
In general.
In general?
In general. Iron Hands have the cool 1 CP put you into Dev Doctrine, so you can always kind of count on that little bit of extra AP if that's the breakpoint into cough cough, ignore AP 1 and 2. But of course, like a Volkite Dread, it doesn't matter. But I'm trying to think what AP2 guns they have that really like being AP3. The Whirlwind Scorpius is honestly the biggest one. Whirlwind Scorpius will actually kill, if you just like, if it's in Dev Doctrine and has a Tech Marine nearby, it honestly kills like 6 or 7 Skitarii every time it shoots, which is not worthless. It's just not amazing either. And it's a lot. It's still not cheap, is the problem. I wish it was cheap.
How many points is that?
It's 170. It's indirect fire, so it's not terrible. And like, I like the idea of it, and you really are probably only shooting it at the blobs because of blast.
Yep.
Because if I have to roll the number of shots against one of the other units, I know what's going to happen. I'm going to roll 2. Stalker bolt rifles are shockingly not terrible into Skitarii. So they just go to AP3 in Dev Doctrine. But, how often are you going to get to shoot them in Dev Doctrine? Very unlikely. So I don't love that either. I don't know. I kind of like Hellblasters. You get them to do damage to kill all the other stuff. Against infantry, you're just strength 6 AP3, so like perfect. Against the vehicles, strength 7 8 damage 2. You'll cut through chicken walkers quickly if you get to use them. The big downside, of course, is range. They're only 24-inch range, but they're assault, so you can advance and shoot them. I don't know.
Yeah, Chapter Master unit.
Yeah. Was that Death or Glory's question?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was his question. I had answered.
I think Eliminators are also quite good.
Eliminators are good dynamic. I'm just afraid that the characters are just always going to have somewhere to hide. But in some terrain formats, perhaps that will not be the case.
Yeah.
And infiltrating units do not hurt. Let's see.
Would you ever go back to Plasma Inceptors?
You know what? I would. I don't think I will, but it's never just completely out of the question either. There's still, 10 points a model hurt, but they're still really good.
Yeah.
Just Blast. Blast is super powerful in dealing with these Skitarii blobs. Weight of damage 2 is really good into clearing out infiltrators and, Ruststalkers and ponies. And if you can get the chickens, it's very good at killing everything in the AdMech army. I don't think you have any units that casually can accept being shot at by Plasma Inceptors.
No, I mean, they're one of the best shooting units in the game, but they're short range.
They're short range and they're expensive, but closing the distance with AdMech isn't... I'm kind of trying to do it anyway. I'm still considering a block in my my White Scars specifically to help with both Dreadnoughts and whatever it's called.
AdMech?
Both Dreadnoughts and AdMech. And then because I think that the Drukhari matchup is much less punishing for Scars now that Liquefiers don't exist. Because boy, did that make Vanguard veterans cry. You ever seen a grown Van Vet cry? It was Liquefier guns the whole time. We'll see. I could easily be persuaded to try out White Scars into more than just Black Templars. Maybe time to bring them back.
I'm sure people will be very excited to see the White Scars again. It's been a while.
It's been a while, but I know I had my little little side quest with the Ultramarines, but that did go pretty well. I like the Ultramarines too. What can I say? I just like my Space Marines. I like all chapters. I'm especially excited about the Dark Krakens. I've been a Dark Kraken fan all this time. You just didn't know it, neither did I. As soon as they get broken by dwarf rules, I have always been a Dark Kraken
What
fan.
was it? Nactus is there?
Nactus.
Nactus.
Yeah, the Dark Krakens of Nactus. I don't know where else they'd be from. I'm mad at myself that I didn't guess Noctis. I should have. I was thinking like Noctis. I'm like, no, Noctis is someone else. Because the Salamanders are from Nocturne.
Yeah.
I was like, is it Noctis? No. That should have been the guess.
We've got a $20 super chat from Lyle Dixon in Discord. You said you liked all sister chapters except Valor's Heart. With the seeming shift to Mortal Wounds codexes in the next 3, do you think there is a world where we go back to Valor's Heart Bloody Rose or Mono Valor's Heart as the standard for the female pain?
Mono Valorous Heart, never. Honest to goodness, I don't think we will ever go Mono Valorous Heart. And I'm happy to be proven wrong because I like all kinds of sisters. If Mortal Wounds spam becomes prevalent enough, then yes. There's a world where Valorous Heart becomes one of the allies. Ignoring hit penalties is not the worst as a stratagem. Because it can make your Repentia hit on 3s, or it can make your Retributors always hit on 3s. Again, not the worst. It's not the best either, but you can't be too picky here. However, I don't think we're there yet. Even if orcs really bring the mortal spam in, which I wouldn't even be shocked at this point, Orcs are like, we hit you on a 5, but also every time we shoot, we might accidentally launch a grenade that's more accurate than our shooting and do 5 mortal wounds. What?
Squig bombs, baby.
How is the squig bomb more accurate than the orc who's shooting?
It's on a 2-up, baby.
It's a 3-up, but it's
a 3-up?
It might be +1 against vehicles. I think that's it. I think it hits on a 3-up +1 when you target vehicles.
Nice.
Christ. What are we doing here?
His bone.
But it's not a hit roll, so you don't get any of the normal modifiers.
Yeah.
It's just when you shoot, roll a dice. On this roll, you just happen to spontaneously launch a squig bomb. I'm like, I don't know how many, I don't know what's going to get squig bombs, but like, just random 3-up smites coming out of the army is going to get real annoying.
Well, we have Thousand Sons of Green Knights also coming up, so smite spam could absolutely.
Smite spam and mortal spam could absolutely happen between that. So yeah, maybe now is the Black Templar time. It would not take me much convincing.
Or the Valorous Heart time.
Or Valorous Heart time. But Argent Shroud has the 4-up against mortal ones.
Is that their
It's
strat?
1 CP.
Yeah, so that.
Like when that
Is
comes
that only
up,
on vehicles or anything?
that's anything.
That's anything. That's good.
Doesn't matter much, but boy when it does. Boy when it does.
That is where you want to be.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for that super chat, Lyle.
Yeah, I mean, Valorous Heart is the same thing with 8th edition, where the army didn't do a crazy amount of damage, either in shooting or melee.
It is
but
tougher, but it's not as tough as before.
Yeah.
Because they lost the feel and pain in general. They used to have the better damage, better AP reduction, and also they used to have 6 of feel and pain. 5 feel and pain against mortals is cool.
I assume you take the Hospitaller then.
Yeah, well, if you're going defense, probably heal a couple models back here and there. It's definitely not useless.
How is your Malscepter going, John?
I don't have one.
What?
Yep.
Heresy.
One of these days. One of these days. I'm hoping that whatever is getting announced on Saturday is actually tangibly NID rules, not another White Dwarf where they don't actually get anything.
White Dwarf, baby.
Yeah, it's like White Dwarf, campaign rules for Tyranids. Great. That's what we've been waiting on. Yep. I mean, it's cool to, have the army be featured, but I would just love for some match play. Love. So, we'll see if whatever Octarius thing they're announcing. There's been a lot of indications or hints that there may be some kill team releases, which would be a great opportunity to introduce new Tyranid kits, please. Tyranids are still the longest going army without a new kit, which is painful.
What was the last edition they got a model?
It was in 7th, but it was I think it was 2014.
Did Grey Knights get a model before them?
Voldus.
Voldus was in 7th?
Voldus was after. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Grey Knights haven't gotten a ton of model love, but like,
yeah.
I also feel like Tyranids are a little more mainstream than Grey Knights. Sorry, not sorry. And we're quickly approaching 7 years without a new Tyranid kit. It'll be, I think in like December, it'll be, or like November maybe, it'll be 7 years without a new Tyranid kit. I was like, how did a main faction?
They need a new fortification. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that's it, huh?
New
Yeah, it just hurts me that like one of the main factions is going 7 years without a kit. Like, come on, guys, GW, please, mercy. Like, I get it. I don't know what we did wrong, but we have already atoned.
You have sinned.
Yeah, clearly. I don't know what we did though. A Tyranid player like once like beat Robin Credis in like arm wrestling, and it's never been the same since then.
They're paying the Grey Knight tax.
Yeah.
Just you did something in your long distant past.
Okay, Grey Knights did. Grey Knights really sinned.
They sinned.
They sinned hard. 5th edition Grey Knights were an abomination against nature.
That's what we need to get back to.
Stop this AdMech menace with a new Grey Knight menace.
Do not. Do not.
Last Tyranid kit was the Tyranid drop pod.
Yep. And I believe that was 2014.
You also don't own that, right? Spore
I think I have one.
You have one Spore System?
It might be Noise Pro. What? Like what? What do you want me to do with it, Richard?
Play it.
No.
Play it in your competitive GT Tyranid list.
There is no need for that, sir. No need at all. Trust me on this one. It is not in those competitive lists. It's like 130 points. It's like ridiculously more expensive than a drop pod, while also not getting the drop pod rules.
Yep.
It's like, ooh, okay.
Well, good thing they fixed the Dreadclaw.
They did fix the Red Claw, but not the Tyrannocyte.
-1 toughness relic is neat too. 3-inch radius now. That is also cool.
It is cool. 3 inches is hard on a sister's character who just walks up.
Did they have anything to extend aura ranges on that?
Nope.
Not that much.
Nope. The only other way to extend auras is with a relic,
it is
which
another relic,
yeah.
It's like Blood Angels.
Okay.
Just saw Mono Valor's Heart won a tournament on Goonhammer.
Awesome.
That's interesting.
Fantastic film. I wonder what they were taking, what their path was.
Is it true that one of your guys has made Blood Angels competitive for this upcoming game?
Jack claims to have made Blood Angels competitive. He won an RTT with them.
Sure, it's still out.
And we're going to find out how well they do into Death Guard.
Yep.
If they beat Death Guard, I will be impressed.
I will be very
I
impressed.
think that matchup is quite difficult, to be quite honest. And that is coming up tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Time on our YouTube game. Helbrick's model is rough. If you had an updated model, I'd make the sacrifice. John did a cool conversion on
Yeah, I converted to Helbricht because I felt similarly about the current Helbricht model.
What are we expecting from the new Chaos Space Marine stuff in the next supplement?
Reprint.
Honestly, they haven't previewed. You would think if Legions were getting actual new stuff, they would be previewing that and hyping it.
To be fair, they all have not previewed a single rule from AdMech or the Order of a Martyred Lady either.
Oh, they didn't do any?
They have not done a single rules preview for anything besides Be'lakor.
Okay.
Which is honestly weird.
Yeah.
They just keep previewing orcs. And you know what? Orcs...
What was the preview today? Anything?
It was orcs.
It was just the orcs.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well,
hopefully orcs are on pre-order then this coming weekend. Like, just get it back to back.
Yeah. I would love to get back to back, get more 40K.
Has there been a decision one way or the other on Argent Shroud transports?
WTC has ruled that it's okay.
Okay. So then I see.
Because they think that was very rules as intended. So I think that will probably be the widely accepted way. I'm still probably going to do another game or two with Evan Chalice before I go back to Argent Shroud, just because I enjoyed the first test game.
Yeah, that was actually... the CP region was awesome.
CP region was so clutch. I was like, yeah, I actually might need this. So we'll see if that becomes allowed.
I mean, once again, it's a rule written before that really was a new concept of having things remain stationary to be able to fall back and charge or fall back and shoot.
Yep,
or advance and shoot.
Yeah, so I think it'll probably eventually be FAQ to work.
Yeah.
But hopefully that is the intent, and that's where it ends up. I guess we'll find out at some point.
I think they said the cast stuff is reprinted rules.
Oh, they said that? Well,
Where? Maybe they said that on the live stream.
Maybe, yeah.
Because I definitely don't watch those.
I do not watch the live streams usually. Yeah. Although I am curious to see what is in this Saturday's release. I think the only reason I'm not going to watch it is because we'll probably be reading Order Martyr Lady at that time. I expect Saturday morning is going to be a sit down. You know, we should like go get some like go like get some breakfast, pick it up to go, sit around the table, read through the new rules. Me and you, Nick, asking questions. It'll be fun.
Nick doesn't even want to ask questions.
No. Look at this squig on his stick. Look at that. Just a squig on his stick. He's just holding on.
You gotta shove him into the what is it? A rocket launcher? It's not a rocket launcher. I think it's just called the squig launcher.
Is it just a squig launcher?
Yeah, I think it's called a squig launcher.
Where is this? Oh, is this guy holding the squig launcher?
Yeah, I think that's it.
So
'Cause he's on the back,
yeah, so he's on the back.
and the other guy's shoving one in there.
That's fantastic. Where does this guy stand?
I don't know. And Nick probably threw out the instructions. We're never gonna know where he stands.
They'll probably be able to read it. All right, so this guy. Oh, okay, he stands. I think he stands like this. I think he goes right
This
there.
is the infamous squig buggy, which we're getting Nick to build and paint.
We're trying to get all the buggies built and painted because they have to be good at some point, right?
Yeah, and
They don't actually have to be, but
Well,
I'm
they
really
actually
hoping.
don't have
They
to.
don't have to be. But, like, they're really cool models.
look at all
so
these
I'm-
Primaris kits that are still not great.
Wow, I know, right? Yeah, I have a Gladiator now, by the way.
However, it's the only buggy we don't have, and that's important.
Yes, because if we hadn't bought squig buggies, you know what would have happened? They would have been OP, out of stock, and we never would have gotten them. And we would have been running like the DACA Jet Spinima Bobs as squig buggies.
Yep.
But now, because we bought them, they will not be OP.
Like Wolf and Dreads.
Like Wolf and Reds. By our sacrifice of us buying 3 of these things, we have guaranteed that no one else will need to buy them. You're welcome, America. And also everyone else watching.
No, it looks like the orcs riding
The,
squigs.
the
are gonna
riding
be
squigs is
insanity.
Yeah, we
Wow.
we got the rock squigs.
I wonder if
Riding
you can
squigs
take
is so
if
2019.
you can take a unit of those knobs, the amount of mortals you could put out.
Well, how many? Okay, so let's be honest here. If the knob does that, I bet that the normal ones do it too, just less. Right?
Yeah, probably.
So like they'll probably be like on maybe
the
one
regular
dice.
ones. I thought only knobs could run them.
No, there's some unit that can run them.
Oh, there's gonna be a whole
There's,
unit.
there's,
of them?
yeah,
Okay.
they've previewed this. We don't know what it does, but they on the box set there's like a 3-man. I think there were 4 guys on squigs. There's a knob on a squig, and then there's three dudes on a squig. And then we know that there is a named character on a squig coming, the Great White Squig, which is totally it's just Moby Dick.
Way too many squigs.
Too many squigs. But also, let's just be honest here. Every time GW makes a big kit of a named character riding a mount, then the mount is bigger than the character. They always do like a secondary, here's a generic lord riding the same thing.
Yeah.
They always do that. So there's probably gonna be some named like the Great White Squig boss. And I don't know. He actually has a name. Because they released a lore piece and an art piece. So like we know he's coming. There's no way that they're gonna do that and then not make a model. But then there's probably just gonna be like a war boss on a squig or something.
Yeah. Well, I am not excited for 1,000 mortal wounds.
I just hope
in the charge.
I just hope that he's 10 wounds. I just want to shoot him. Like, I just want them to be like, yep, we made this big, great white squig. You can put a war boss on it. It's 18 wounds. Like, wow, specifically 18, you say? Yep, specifically 18. Dead. Just immediately vaporized.
Is Bellicor 16?
Bellicor 16. But he's so wide that I feel like you're going to be able to see him. Like, get an angle without too much trouble. Because he's big. Like, Bellicor looks like he's bigger than a Flyrant, like wingspan. And hiding Flyrants is hard enough, and Bellicor's on a bigger base.
Yeah,
And he's wider. And it's like, okay. Bellicor's gonna get seen. So get your anti-tank guns. Be prepared to not reroll anything apparently, but just pluses to hit and wound.
Thoughts on the Vindicare to combat AdMech characters?
Thoughts of the what?
The Vindicare Assassin.
Vindicare Assassin is the best assassin of the game. Everyone knows that, including me and Nick.
Combat AdMech.
Combat. Yeah, well, he does kill. He can one-shot a Marshal. Where's the dice? I'm gonna go get a dice.
They're right up there.
Yep, I'm gonna go one-shot. Let's try
Here we
real
go.
quick. Yeah, let's do it. We're gonna just pretend that I have at least one CP actor for this.
You
Yeah, you gotta reroll, right?
got it.
All right, let's do it. Overhead time. We're gonna kill this Marshal. Okay, he always hits on 2s.
Yeah. Definitely doesn't wound on.
I thought he wounded infantry on 2s.
Oh, maybe he does.
I think he wounds infantry on 2s. And he's AP 3. Toss. He ignores invulns, but what did the Skitaria Marshal say? He have 3 or 4?
I believe he has a 4-up. He's just a Skitaria.
Oh, okay. Let's get this damage roll in there. Okay, 1 damage. I threw 3 trues in a row. Alright, so on a 3+, he takes Immortal. On a 4+, he takes Immortal. On a 5+, he takes Immortal. That's got. Alright, so we did 3 wounds. 3 wounds to the March. So he's a 4-1 character?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll admit, that was close. That's actually the best shot I've
2
ever
CP
rolled.
fight shoot twice.
It's 1 CP, but it has to be different characters. For any
Oh,
kill.
it has to be a different.
Yeah, of course.
Go after the Manipulus, baby.
Does he see 5 wins?
Yeah, they're both.
Don't
5.
bother me. Damn it. CP.
CP.
Alright. Wounds?
Wounds.
You get a
He has a
6
2-up
problem.
armor.
Yeah, you gotta save. Oh, see, dude, we got this. Damage. I'm gonna. I already CP roll.
You ready to be?
Alright, 1 wound. Takes 1 on a 3-up. Takes 1 on a 4-up. Okay, so 3 wounds to each.
All right, that consistent 3. That's more than he usually does.
Consistent 3 damage, I would actually pay for that.
Yep.
Alright, you know what? You know what? I'm gonna take a Vindicare against your AdMech on
Perfect.
the next.
Do it.
The next time I play your AdMech on YouTube, I'll take a Vindicare Assassin. Done. Not even a contest. Richard has no idea what's coming for him.
The last time we had a lack of previews for the chapter proved it was because they knew it was trash. Seems like a move to limit excitement, manage expectations downward.
Huh.
Honestly, no.
I'm gonna be an
Honestly,
optimist. I have been fooled many times, and I would like it to happen once more.
They also didn't do a huge preview of Metallica and that stuff either.
Oh, that's true, and that was actually really good.
that was actually solid.
They like barely talked about Cult of Strife, and it just
Yeah.
like landed on our.
Exactly.
Like,
so,
what?
based on they haven't been hyping up the campaign books as much as you would think, which is interesting. But
Yeah.
there have been good rules in them.
There have been.
So
And I can't imagine there not being one Skitarii rule that actually is helpful.
Mhm.
Like, there's got to be something in there that's going to genuinely make them better.
Something is gonna.
It's like, if it's just one thing, that's already plenty.
Something's gonna be there.
So AdMech FAQ was impressive. Does anyone anticipate any other changes to them anytime soon?
I imagine they wait a couple months, have AdMech actually win some big events.
Yeah,
And
of course.
have a
Yeah,
win
let's wait for
percentage
AdMech
for
to win the first GW event, the Lone Star Open, the Show Me Showdown. Are there any other majors that AdMech can win in the next month? Because they're gonna get them.
Probably in Europe. Or
It's alright. And actually, spoiler alert: White Scar's gonna win the Lone Star Open. Call my shot. White
Yeah.
Scar. White Scar time.
White Scars.
White Scar, baby.
Um,
Don't be stuck on the first couple tables. Those first couple rows. Not with White Scar.
You imagine like round 1, Mark Hertel, I go second. I'm like,
So there's no terrain in my deployment
like
zone.
this was an entire plane ticket I just bought, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
by the way, recently noticed that the Death Guard Bodyguard rule is an aura. Space Marine Sisters is not. We all know, just despite Chaos players, should they all be auras or not?
Okay, so I've heard of this. I feel like all bodyguard auras should be the same. So either they're all auras or they're not all auras.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's a lot easier to justify why the Sister's bodyguard aura is an aura rather than to try to explain why bodyguard parentheses aura is not an aura. Like there's no universe where I can argue that the bodyguard aura is not an aura.
Yeah.
So I feel like that means they're all auras.
Yeah.
So if your opponent has ignore aura stuff, think about it.
Which is relatively rare, to be fair.
It's relatively rare, but like there's a few. I think Death Guard has some. Dark Angels have one. AdMech Bombers. What is it? It picks a unit, and that unit does not benefit
Pick
from
a unit
any
and then
auras.
Yep, 2 CP.
See,
pick
that's
6.
if they have bombers, kill bombers before Celestine stands up by herself. Now, traditional lookout search still applies. So if you just like have Celestine near Sacrosanct, and there just happens to be like anything
You'd have
else
to use
closer.
Cerberus Raiders with Wrath of Mars to make it actually.
Cerberus Raiders with Wrath of Mars, and also a bomber.
The bombs.
That is something you have to watch out for.
Yeah.
Still fairly niche.
It is, but like, boy, do I not want that to happen to me.
Want to play my Chaos again and refuse to get my hopes up?
That is the best policy. Just wait until your hopes like are raised. Do not anticipate them going up. Just wait, and maybe something good will happen to you one day.
We know there's an Armour Lady strat called Vengeance for Armageddon, which is presumed will hose orcs. The only rule preview.
That is true. They did not. They told us the name of one stratagem without telling us what it did.
What?
Yeah. Order of Martyr Lady was on Armageddon. They fought against orcs. A lot of them died. They got martyred, and they are upset about it. So they
Yes,
really
they should be.
They hate orcs. So I really hope that Vengeance for Armageddon is just 1 CP, shooting orc combat, reroll all hits and wounds when targeting an orc unit. I mean, why wouldn't it be, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Done.
Done. It's like, what? There's an Orc Codex coming out? Martyr Lady. Let's get out of here.
It's time for the Farsight Enclaves.
Oh my god. Dude, I'm gonna ally Pedro Cantor and Yarrick in one army and just be like, death to Orc!
What does Pedro do against orcs?
I don't actually know. He used to have anti-orc rules, he may not anymore. Back before Chapter Master existed, he was a 6-inch or every roll that hit against orcs.
What does Helbrecht have against?
Oh no, Yarrick. Helbrecht doesn't do anything at orcs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he hates everything. He's Black Templar. Yarrick is still a 6-inch or every roll hits against orcs.
Nice.
Honest to God, if orcs get popular, I will bring that to a team tournament just so we can like watch people cry. Can you imagine like the look on someone's face? It's like, all right, I'm gonna defend with orcs. Great, we're attacking you with our Yarrick guard list and Death Watch. What do you want, buddy? Like, what are you gonna do with this information? That'd be so trolly. I would love to do that to someone. I should paint up the Yarrick soon. We're getting close to it.
It's classic.
As soon as the Orc Codex gets released, we'll do it. I bet I can convince Mark to play some classic Yarrick versus Gaskell. It's like, yeah, I'll just test out the Orc book does. Just dies. It kills all of it immediately. Oh, that'd be so much fun. Stupid orcs. I'm trying to find out what Pedro Cantor does. Imperial Fist Supplement.
I have not seen Pedro in a long time.
You know what the worst part is? Pedro Cantor may be the best Space Marine special character.
He is very cool.
He is really good. Unfortunately, boy, is everything around him garbage. No, he does not do anything to orcs anymore. Lame.
What does he do?
He's a chapter master that's very cheap and has a 6-inch orc plus 1 attack.
Yeah, that is.
That's good.
Does it stack with Shock Assault?
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's generically useful. Hold on. There's got to be a Crimson Fist stratagem against orcs. 1 CP reroll the wound against orcs for any Crimson Fist unit. That's not the worst. That's not the worst. Don't hate that.
Volkite Contemptor coming in.
Woo! Oh my god, yes. What if Crimson Fist had a good chapter tactic? Could you imagine? That'd be great. It's like, we're the bad half of Imperial Fists. Okay.
You don't want to be there.
It's not what you want to be.
Let's see. John judged my Imperial Knights custom house list. The hit reroll, exploding 6s in melee, Majera Warlords, 6 more axes with lightning locks, 3 Warglaves, and then some guard, 9th Gorgon's Patrol with the 2 Scion units, 2 Weird Vein Psychers.
2 Scions, 2 Weird Vein Psychers?
Yep.
Doesn't sound bad. What was the Knight's attachment there?
It was custom. It was exploding 6s in melee and the reroll hit roll.
I'm sorry, what was it? 6 Lightning Lock Warglade, 6 Lightning Lock Marxes, 3 Warglades, and a Majera. You know what? I dig it. Good mission play. Action bot Psychers and Scions. I approve of this message.
1 Majera can still do some work.
1 Majera is still really good. If you give it all the buffs. Because at that point, I think you should give it to a farm for it. Just call it a day.
Yeah.
I do not dislike that at all. I assume that's a Scion Patrol.
Yeah.
Keep it nice and cheap. Still got a decent number of command points. Yeah, I could see that being cool.
Are you going to be trying any Imperium Subs lists?
In a little bit, I think I'm going to try Guard and Sisters. But I really want to go deeper into Sisters Pure first.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of depth to the Sisters Codex. So I want to give them a fair shake before I try Allies. Just because you keep Sacred Rites, which is really interesting, even though you lose Miracle Ice. So there's some very interesting Sister stuff to be done.
You think Sisters are the best Imperium ally to start with?
For Guard?
Yeah, for Guard.
I still think Sisters and Guard is the best soupy combo.
Interesting.
It's not, like a clear-cut thing. Custodians are still not bad at all for a Guard ally, but I like Yarrick. I think we're gonna take Yarrick and a couple indirect fire pieces. Call it a day.
Ruin somebody's world.
Ruin somebody's world. You know what costs more than Retributor squads? Manticores. We're getting to the last in here one way or another.
Manticores with the full rerolls against orcs are actually.
That would be terrifying. Could you imagine?
Remember that game with the buggies where you just picked up all
Yeah,
of them in the first 2 turns?
Distinctly.
That was brutal.
That's like the only time we put buggies on the stream.
Yeah.
I still feel a little bit bad about that. We're like, hey, what's another like middle of the pack army like with orcs? Yeah, let's try guard.
All the shooting.
It's just like, yeah, well, okay.
Thoughts on Mortarion in the current meta?
Without warp time, I think he's just not very good.
What as well?
Thoughts on Mortarion in the meta?
Yeah, nope, not. Just trying to come up with a counter argument there, but I didn't have one.
He's too slow. He's so many points.
The warp time change
And
sucked the soul out of
there's
me.
so much damage in the game right now.
There really is, yeah. He's cool, but
He just doesn't
too
do
many
enough.
armies can kill him from range. Some armies can't. Like, I think Mortarion is like a Tyrion player's worst nightmare. What am I going to do? Charge him with a Demon Karen and reroll nothing and see what happens?
Yeah.
Cool. Cool.
But you're not really going for the Tyranid matchup at the moment.
That's not what you need to build for.
I don't think he helps into any of the top armies.
No.
And in that case, he's kind of like the Silent King, where he started out as an option and relatively good one,
Relatively good one.
and has slowly declined over time as the meta has shifted towards outrageous damage.
Yeah, the meta has definitely caught up to the Silent King and Mortarion and those types, I think. Bellicor has enough interesting defense buffs that I am
Yeah,
curious to see how he does.
he's got some very interesting ones.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what like his specialist attachment does, because I assume that this is going to be a Creations of Bile situation where you have to take Bellicor in a Disciples of Bellicor attachment, same way you have to take Biles in a Fabius Bile attachment. But if that does enough cool stuff, that Bellicor could really be an option. And also his stats look pretty cool. Like I could see it working.
And he's also not as expensive as either of them.
He's still not cheap, but he's not quite as expensive. He's like 360, I think.
Yeah.
Right? He was like
I think he was 360 in the chapter proof book.
okay. So he's an investment. One does not casually include Bellicor in the list.
Chaos players do like big investments.
Hey, I mean, if it's worth it though, it's cool.
Yeah.
And little Tyranids get good gribbly monsters.
What are the photos in the bottom right? Those are photos from our lovely sponsor, Golden Globe Gaming, of some of the models that they painted. And then the Chikari ones are the ones that they painted for us.
Mhm.
Just a little showcase some of the work that they've done.
Yeah, that was not us. Although, we should get a couple pictures of like some of our better stuff.
Yeah, we can
Like the
definitely do that.
Taunar, the Death Watch army,
Yep.
Nyx Triumph.
Well, it's not finished.
Oh yeah, that's good point.
It's not poorly painted. What is painted?
No,
It's
it's
actually
actually good.
Yeah. It's just he hasn't completed it.
Nor will he,
At this point,
Yeah.
lack of motivation.
perhaps. That could be it.
It's like all those servitors I could have built, but was praying that they weren't good, and then
Yeah, I'm so disappointed you just got away with that.
I got away with it.
Yep. You did get away with it. At this point, we did not need those servitors, and they'll just be here when we do.
Yep. As soon as they get a nice points decrease, 2 years from now, then we can start thinking about that.
Yeah, we'll be ready.
But honestly, that's going to be like one of the few things I don't have. So eventually, when I run out of hobby projects, theoretically,
Yeah.
if Games Workshop doesn't release models for my armies, and looks like Grey Knights aren't getting anything.
I will say I'm mildly relieved that the next like 3 armies of Orcs, Thousand Sons, Grey Knights are not any of the ones that I traditionally paint. So I can kind of just keep grinding on my current projects without having to add any more. Because Sisters obviously added a lot, which is okay. I really like the Sisters release, but it certainly is a time investment to get all this done. Like I did not think I needed Heavy Flame or Retributors, and here we are. Here we are painting them up. Because I want to have them for later.
That strat from Ebon Chalice is awesome.
Yeah, it's only 3 mortals, but like it's
Just
just very consistent
That
compared
plus
to
two
the
minions, yeah.
compared to Blessed Bolts. Blessed Bolts has the cap at 6, but it's a little risky. Wounding on 4 is like I feel like you're getting a couple mortals every time.
You're getting 3 points.
Yeah. With 2 heavy flamers, you're getting 3 mortals almost every time. 1 is obviously very risky, but and then extending the range is nice. Just an extra 4 inches on flamers really comes up sometimes.
John, are you going to show us the new Sisters version of the Nopin list?
Hold the line.
You know what? That would be interesting. I I'd be willing to look into what a Sisters Custodies look like. Just a bunch of shield cards. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, just some extra board control. It's relatively durable. Turn
I
off
still
rerolls.
think I like guard better. But
It's the cheap
Custodies
stuff.
are
But sisters,
pretty useful.
sisters with Crusaders, Death Cult Assassins, they can bring some cheap stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I do like cheap stuff. We'll probably be painting up some Death Cult Assassins and Crusaders sometime in the next couple weeks. Just to add to the collection. Arc of Flagellants too, those are really cool units. Definitely need to get those going.
Did they change much?
The Arc of Flagellants got slightly cheaper. They got better in combat because they went to 2 instead of D3 attack hits per attack. Their go to 3 instead of D3/2 went to 1 CP instead of 2. And they got +1 toughness.
So all good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
All good news.
Yeah. So it's better. They got better.
And they were already a decent choice into the Chikari meta.
Yeah, they were already a little fringe, but definitely had some options. Now I just think they're good. Like I actually intend to take they're one of those units that I need to get painted. Well, I'll leave it at that because I would really like to try them out. I haven't put them on the table yet with the new book, but I think they have a ton of potential.
Let's see. The Minotaur characters are the spiciest characters in the Space Marine lineup. Chapter Master basically is the Custodies and Contemptor character.
Who's the Minotaur character?
They have a couple. They have Hecaton Aekos, who is a Dreadnought. He is a 9-wound character. Unfortunately, his weapon is a big plasma cannon, but he is good in combat. So he's a good combat character who's a Dreadnought. Then they have a Chapter Master. His name escapes me. They have Ivis Enkomi, who's a chaplain with a power fist, and that's what he is. He's a chaplain with a power fist. He's like a manlet. He walks around. He's a power fist. That's what he is. And then their chapter master is a big Terminator Storm Shield dude with a better Guardian Spear, and I want to say an aura of reroll charges off the top of my head. Not 100% on that, but that's what my memory is telling me.
Custodies need those weapon updates badly.
Custodies and Tyranids are feeling those old weapons.
Yeah. They are just not good. Like, the Sentinel Blade, like, it's a Custodian weapon. I don't care that
And it's the same strength as a power sword.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, buddy. Like, hold on.
This is a giant sword.
Like,
It
this
is
thing is
actually
literally
giant.
the size of a Space Marine.
Please.
Yeah, no, the Custodians need weapon buffs in general. I think strength and attack. I think Custodians I don't think they need Shock Assault. I think they just need +1 attack on everything.
Yep.
Just every single model in that book, +1 attack, and then you look at everything else from there. Also, most of their melee should be +1 strength.
Yep.
Make the spear 7, sword 6, maybe flat 2 damage instead of D3.
Do you think they'll put inbuilt buffs, defensive buffs on Custodies?
I believe it, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're going to do a lot with Custodians. I just think that Custodians are going to be a later book.
Yeah.
And I have no reason to think that. Other than that, I don't think GW's prioritizing them.
I think they need more new models, too. They need a real fleshed out line.
Yeah, I would be okay with Custodians waiting a while and getting a vehicle that is uniquely theirs. Because right now, to get a Custodians vehicle, you have to go to Forge World or get a Land Raider and spray it gold. And that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Or the basic Contemptor.
Come on, get out of here.
Come on, it looks awful.
It's so bad.
It's up there with the ATV Invader.
I think it's worse.
I think it's worse, actually.
I think it's worse because it's so horribly posed.
The square legs. Alright. Two more guys.
2 more guys. Carib Colm.
Carib Colm the Risen.
I do love Carib Colm the Risen. I have a few regrets in life. Life has been pretty good. I regret that I did not build and paint my Carib Colm, which I do have one. I regret that I did not build and paint him before the stupid Warlord trait change in the recent Fort Build book. He was so good when you could pick his Warlord trait. Once a game, you teleported him with Raven Guard. That was dope. When he was Imperial Fists, you could make him half damage as a Warlord trait.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, what a guy. Half damage Leviathan Dreadnought. I was getting chills and flashbacks right there. Yep, I miss those days.
You talked it up.
I did. I wanted it. I just never got around to memeing because we were in the middle of the EO LVO season.
Yeah.
And then COVID happened, and then I just wasn't really painting for a couple weeks. So I wish I'd done it. It's alright. He'll come back one day. Let's see. Huh. Reverse alphabetical order. War Magic. The last two codexes were Adeptus. We'll get there.
Who do you think the last codex will be?
Tyranids.
It's going to be Tyranids?
No. Let me think here. No, actually. Maybe like Harlequins. I could see them leaving guard for a while, honestly. I don't really know. I don't know.
I feel like Inari is the perfect.
Oh, Yanari doesn't need a codex. Just
Squat them.
yeah. No, they can get campaign rules. They can live in a campaign book forever. I don't care enough to make Yanari a codex. Like, get out of here.
Could be the rest of the Marine supplements. Their updates for 9th edition.
Oh yeah,
That
that's right. It's Black Templars. Who am I kidding?
That could wait a while.
Oh god, I hope Black Templars get a supplement soon. We don't need to update the existing ones for a while though. Ultramarines, White Scars, I'm more than happy to wait another year or two before we get those. Like get codexes out before that, 100%.
I feel like they want to stagger Marine releases so that there's
There's always
always
a reason
one
to buy, and 100%. They get my money. So like let's get a couple Xenas and Chaos codexes out, and then maybe like a Knights codex or Guard codex or Custodian's codex, and then let's do a couple more Xenas books, and then let's drop a Black Templar supplement.
Do you guys prefer to build and then paint, or to paint while building?
I usually build most of the model.
Yeah.
I will sometimes do sub-assemblies with things like heads or vehicles, but with my infantry models, heads are the only thing that I'll leave off, really.
Yeah, I typically build the whole model and then paint it, unless there's like really intricate pieces that need to be separate.
Stevie with a $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Stevie. Richard, have you considered Metallica at all? If so, what kinds of units do you think would work well with their rules? Could they be competitive? They're competitive. They are just outshone by Lucius and by Mars, in my opinion.
Who isn't?
I think they're the third best Forge World, though.
Yeah, oh, that's probably true, but third best is
Third best at this point. So they have very good warlord traits and relics, thanks to their supplement rules.
yeah, some really diverse stratagem access as well.
The stratagems that they have are very solid. I just think that right now with AdMech, the damage isn't actually what you really need to be buffing. It's the defense. If you can keep the defense so that you have more consistent shooting for extra turns, that's where AdMech just starts tabling you. And so I think prioritizing the defense of Lucius is better than what Metallica brings. And then on the flip side, the offensive efficiency of Mars, especially the mortal wound output, adds another dimension to AdMech that's very powerful into a lot of armies right now. And so that's why I'm prioritizing the combination of those two. If I was to try to make Metallica worse, I still think the Flyers are very good at Metallica.
Yeah, because you get upfield to use a lot of their strats that involve being closer.
Exactly. I really liked that transport, being able to put the cheap tech priest in there and give him the 6-inch aura of -1 toughness and give him the metallic and lung for reroll wounds. That just a plain -1 damage. You can throw the Doctrina to give a +1 save as well. Just keep it alive for an extra turn. And then with now Infiltrators being very good, Cerberus Raiders still being good, you can actually protect him for a little bit longer. And if you throw that onto key units of your opponents, you are just nuking them. So like they do have very good tools. I would build around something like that. I just think the tools that they do have don't put them above Lucius or Mars at this point. But
It's hard to be above those two right now.
yeah,
Metallica's still really good.
I think they're the third best rule set. If like Mars and Lucius fell off the face of the earth, I'd run Metallica. And I'd run a similar enough list. I would just add in the Metallic and Lung suicide character when I need him. And I'd probably run the transport. And that way I get access to the 2 CP turn-off auras on a unit, which I still do like having. That is a very good tool to have in your back pocket.
Especially in the bodyguards.
Yep.
Thanks so much for the super chat. Very much appreciated. Third best is just 40k speak for why even bother showing up.
No, it's called future proofing.
Yeah,
Third best means it will be good. It will be the best in the next 2 years.
it's when you're fifth and sixth best. That's when
we can forget about those. Like Raya, I don't care.
Yeah, for Raya. Raya and Agrippina really don't feel like they have a purpose right now.
yeah.
All right.
Stygius at least has a cool strategy, or what is it? Warlord trait.
Yeah, they do that. They do have that.
All right. Well, thanks so much, everybody, for joining us. We got that time at 3 p.m. Really appreciate everybody's super chats and support throughout.
We have some very exciting content coming up tomorrow.
We do.
1 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to be doing a stream match with Mr. Jack Harpster busting out the Blood Angels.
Blood Angels
It's
in
been
the
a
Death
while,
Guard.
and he is playing them into the Death Guard. Last time that matchup happened, I got stomped by the Death Guard. But Jack is very excited about his list, and let's see what he can do against Nick's Death Guard. And then on the War Room game, it is going to be me playing the Forces of the Adeptus Mechanicus into Nick Nanavati playing his Drukhari list.
Yep.
Can AdMech continue its reign on the stream house, or will the Drukhari put an end to it?
We'll find out soon.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody, and we hope to see you next time. Really appreciate all that support. We're going to send you off with a promo for that War Room.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Dive even deeper into competitive 40K and become a member of the world's most knowledgeable and positive community.
The War Room is an exclusive group that brings together the world's best 40K players as coaches to help anyone from a newer player to an experienced tournament veteran learn, grow, and reach their goals within our shared hobby.
Each week we offer a variety of live stream coaching matches centered around illuminating the thought process and in-game decision making of top players. We explain everything we're doing and why.
You'll learn about the ever-evolving meta, match play mission theory, list making, and discussion of every faction in the game, and have access to analysis of all the latest rules. Our team of highly experienced coaches teach weekly clinics on each individual faction, strategy sessions on deployment and cool tricks, and meta-analyses each week during Meta Monday.
We are committed to not only providing the best knowledge for players available, but also building a one-of-a-kind community.
Come be a part of the War Room.